हम्म? यहाँ चलना?
नहीं
ये ठीक है, इससे कर रहे हैं बहुत ज़्यादा मुझे।
हेलो पेशकार साहब।
हाँ, मेरी आवाज़ आ रही है सर?
हाँ हाँ हाँ, 59 आज पास ओवर कर दीजिए।
मार्क कर लेते हैं, वो तो लॉर्डशिप का आने के बाद होगा ना।
अब मार्क कर लीजिए।
हाँ, मेरा काम सिर्फ मार्क कर लेना है सर।
हाँ 59।
बाकी लॉर्डशिप के आने के बाद होगा कि अप टू द मार्क होता है कि डाउन टू द मार्क होता है।
मास्टर साहब, मास्टर साहब, मास्टर
जी।
साहब 35 भी मार्क कर लीजिए। संतोष पांडे बोल रहे हैं 35।
एक सेकंड एक सेकंड एक सेकंड एक सेकंड सर। 59
35
35 सर, पासवर्ड है क्या?
भाई नहीं नहीं, आज पास और आज भर के लिए जा रहे हैं ब्रदर, आउट ऑफ
वही
स्टेशन।
पूछ रहे सर, पासवर्ड है ना सिर्फ?
एक सीरियल विथड्रॉ
मास्टर साहब,
वन सर, वन बाई वन।
एक सीरियल 22
हिंदुस्तान में हम स्टेट से हैं, चौबे जवाहर।
सर वन बाई वन बोलिए, इस तरह से बोलिए, कोरस करेंगे तो फिर दिक्कत हो जाएगी ना।
नंबर पे मास्टर साहब हमारी आवाज जा रही है?
हाँ, जा रही है।
और सीरियल नंबर 2 में चौबे जवाहर स्टेट से हैं।
वो सर अपना नंबर व्हाट्सएप पे भेजिए किसी सीरियल साहब।
जवाहर बाबा को नहीं दीजिए, हाजिरी आज नहीं बनना चाहिए जवाहर बाबा का।
मेरा भी नोट कर लीजिए।
पेशकार साहब
मास्टर
43
साहब, सीरियल
मैडम पीडी कोड 43 में क्या है?
एक मिनट बस एक मिनट। सीरियल नंबर 43 काइंडली पास ओवर फॉर द डे।
नहीं अब मार्क कर ले रहे हैं, बनी रही है, प्रोसेस होने के बाद डिसाइड होगा।
ठीक।
सीरियल पेशकार साहब, सीरियल 22
नंबर 60 पास ओवर फॉर द डे।
एक सीरियल नंबर 8 एंड सीरियल नंबर 44 को भी नोट कर लिया जाएगा।
सीरियल नंबर 60 पास ओवर फॉर द डे।
सीरियल नंबर 8 एंड सीरियल नंबर
एक में सर आप लोग
44।
सुनिए,
कि मेल भेज दी
आप लोग
जाती
सुनिए सर।
सीरियल नंबर 8 एंड
सुनिए
सीरियल
सुनिए,
नंबर
पहले मेरी बात,
44।
मेरी आवाज जा रही है सर आप लोगों को?
जी,
मेरी बात, पहले मेरी बात सुन लीजिए। जितने भी लोगों को मेंशन करना है, पहले अपना हैंड रेज करके रखेंगे, लॉर्डशिप वन बाय वन उनका नाम कॉल करेंगे, तब अपनी बात रखेंगे लॉर्डशिप के सामने।
एक सीरियल नंबर 8 और 44 को भी नोट कर लिया जाए।
सर जो भी बोलना है सर, पहले आप लोग अपना हैंड रेज, जिनको मेंशन करना है, कैंडली पास ओवर हो या एडजमेंट हो या विड्रॉल हो, किसी भी तरह का मेंशनिंग करना हो तो आप अपना हैंड रेज करके रखिएगा। और लॉर्डशिप जो है आपसे पूछेगा, आप अपने से कुछ मत बोलिएगा। जिनका नाम लॉर्डशिप कॉल करते हैं अपना बोलिएगा, अपने जो भी अपना सबमिशन है।
सीरियल नंबर 8 और सीरियल नंबर 44 नोट कर लिया जाए।
नोट क्या क्या करना क्या है? अपना म्यूट कीजिए, अपना म्यूट कीजिए। ये आवाज किनकी तरफ से आवाज आ रही है सर?
नंदन जी की तरफ से आ
आप
रही
लोग अपना म्यूट कीजिए,
बंद करिए उनको।
और एक बार फिर से सुन लें सर, जो भी जिनको भी मेंशन करना है, कैंडली अपना हाथ रेज करके रहिए। लॉर्डशिप जब आ रहे हैं और आने के बाद आपसे वन बाय वन जो है आप नाम कॉल करेंगे, उसके बाद वही जिनका नाम कॉलेंगे वही अपना सबमिशन करेंगे, बाकी लोग नहीं करेंगे।
क्या करना है?
अपना हैंड रेज करके रखिए सर, लॉर्डशिप आ रहे हैं, जो लॉर्डशिप का डायरेक्शन है, अपना हैंड रेज करके रखिए। क्योंकि एक तरह जिनको भी मेंशन करना है, क्योंकि इस तरह से एक तरह से कोरस होने से इनकन्वीनियंस होता है कोर्ट को, इसलिए आप अपना हैंड रेज करके रखिए और वन बाय वन लॉर्डशिप कॉल करेंगे, जिनका नाम वो अपना मेंशन करेंगे, चाहे वो पास ओवर हो या विड्रॉल हो या एडजमेंट हो। ठीक है ना सर?
मास्टर साहब आइटम नंबर 2 में हाजिरी बना दीजिएगा स्टेट से चौबे जवाहर।
हाजिरी के लिए सर आप अपने व्हाट्सएप पे भेज दीजिए सर।
एकदम नहीं बनाइए, एकदम नहीं बनाइए उनका।
चलिए सर, म्यूट कीजिए सर, आप लोग म्यूट कीजिए। भेज दो व्हाट्सएप पे।
श्री प्रसाद बाबू आप नहीं को दुश्मनी हो गया हमसे।
चौबे जाबार सर म्यूट कीजिए अपने आप को, बार बार आप म्यूट हो जा रहे हैं। वन में ऑर्डर आया। खुल जाता है। आया क्या? शेयर कनेक्शन।
पहले पैसा ले ले पहले पैसा
वो मेंशन करना है सर, सीरियल नंबर 17।
इनको मेंशन कर, अपना हैंड रेज करके रखिए, लॉर्डशिप आएंगे, वन बाय वन कॉल करेंगे। गुड मॉर्निंग लॉर्डशिप।
17 का मेंशन पहले नहीं होगा?
पहले आप हैंड रेज करके रखिए सर, लॉर्डशिप आपको कॉल करेंगे,
morning,
आप मेंशन कीजिएगा।
Yes, Mr. Dhanraj.
जी सर।
Any mentioning, please raise your hand. I'll call you by name. Mr. Raj Kishore
My
Prasad.
lord, my
Huजूर serial number 8
Passover
and serial number 44. Pass over for the day only, my lord.
All right, pass over.
Serial number 8 and 44.
Serial number 40 kindly pass over for the day.
विड्रॉ करना है
वन बाय वन सर,
Unless I-
वन बाय वन आप लोग अपना हाथ रेंज करके रखिए सर।
Unless I call your name, please don't speak. Otherwise, we will not pass any order. Mr. Santosh Kumar Pandey. Mr. Santosh Kumar Pandey.
माइक ऑन कीजिए सर अपना, संतोष कुमार पांडे सर माइक ऑन
नंबर
कीजिए।
कीजिए हुजूर, वनडे अकोमोडेशन संतोष कुमार पांडे सर 35 हुजूर।
25 pass over. All right. Yes. MS Preeti Kumar.
Your Lordship, serial number 43 kindly pass over for the day.
Pass over. Yes.
Of
Anybody else? Anybody else?
सीरियल नंबर 17 योर लॉर्डशिप 17।
आपको बुलाया नहीं, आपको पूछा ही नहीं है। जब तक बोलेंगे नहीं तब तक आप कुछ भी कहेंगे मैं नहीं करूंगा। मिस्टर श्रीकांत पांडे।
यस योर लॉर्डशिप।
यस।
सीरियल नंबर 17 योर लॉर्डशिप, पास ओवर फॉर द डे।
17 पास ओवर। ऑल राइट, who else? मिस्टर ब्रिजनंदन प्रसाद।
सीरियल नंबर 22 माय लॉर्ड विथड्रॉवल का है, जो अरेस्ट हो गए हैं।
22 ब्रिजनंदन प्रसाद विड्रॉल कर दीजिए। ऑल राइट, एनीबॉडी एल्स?
माय लॉर्ड
सीरियल नंबर 5 पास ओवर माय लॉर्ड फॉर द डे।
आइटम नंबर 5 को पास ओवर कर दीजिए। यस। नो फर्दर।
माय लॉर्ड
यस, बोलिए मिस्टर मनोज कुमार।
माय लॉर्ड the consolidated list है माय लॉर्ड, petitioner was arrested.
आप make a mention, give a slip to the court master. He will have it listed under the heading to be mentioned, and then you withdraw.
My lord.
Call out, Mr.
59, my lord, password for the day. 59, my lord.
59 password. All right. Yes.
और ऑर्डर सिलेवन मिस्टर सतप्रकाश पराव सर।
Yes.
Last occasion, Lordship has waited for the appearance of the opposite party, Lordship.
Today also nobody is there.
But it's subject to Lordship confirmation.
What is this matter?
Case is Lordship arising out of the complaint case, Lordship.
Therefore, we would give one more time. Let us see. Awaiting the appearance. Till awaiting the appearance of OP number 2. This case is further adjourned to 24th of March.
02 Mr. Gopal Govind Misra.
May I please your lordship?
Yes.
My lord, the prosecution case is under section 406, 418 of the Indian Penal Code, my lord. Matter relates to civil dispute, my lord. And your lordship has granted provisional bail to the petitioner by earlier order, my lord. Your lordship may have a look at the order.
Just a minute. awaiting the appearance of OP number 2. This matter is adjourned to 24th of March. Enter in order and in the meanwhile shall continue.
Serial 3, Mr. Rajendra Nath Sinha.
Lord, I appear in this case for the petitioner.
Yes.
Lord, this is an application for anticipatory bail, the sole petitioner in case per section 306 of the IPC. By order dated 22nd of December, while calling for the case diary of the case, your lordship had also issued notice to the informant. And he has appeared. Lord, the case, the FIR is very short FIR. The case is that his sister, he got information that his sister has died. He went there and found her sister dead and came to know that she has consumed sulfas. And one line is there that her husband, that is the brother-in-law, was pratarit karte the. This is the only thing. And the defense is that she was undergoing depression due to the COVID.
Who appears for the
My lord, I am appearing on behalf of informant, my lord. इसमें
Yes.
नोटिस हुआ था, इसमें बाद में हुजूर फॉरवर्ड डेवलपमेंट में कंप्रोमाइज हो गया है.
Likhe. Heard Mr. Rajiv Royal and senior advocate for the petitioner, and Mr. Mrityunjay Kumar Gautam for the informant / opposite party number 2. The state is represented by so-and-so. The wife of the petitioner committed suicide, for which Jakkanpur PS case number 334 of 2020 was instituted for the offence under section 306 of the IPC. The informant had suspected that because of the ill treatment meted out to his sister, she had consumed poison, which led to her death. It was urged on behalf of the petitioner that even assuming the aforesaid fact to be absolutely true, the petitioner cannot be saddled with the allegation of abetting the commission of such suicide. No definite material could be collected during the course of investigation in order to bring home the charge of abetment to commit suicide. Mr. Mrityunjay Kumar Gautam, learned advocate for the opposite party, for the informant / opposite party number 2, has submitted that he has been instructed that the informant does not wish to prosecute the petitioner any further after he has come to know about the correct state of facts. Considering the aforementioned facts, the provisional bail granted to the petitioner by order dated 22nd of December 2021 is hereby confirmed. The petitioner shall remain on the same bail bonds. The application stands allowed accordingly.
Serial 4, Mr. Sat Prakash Parasar.
Yes, also lordship. On the last occasion, while calling the case diary and given the privilege of lordship the provisional bail to the 6th petitioner lordship.
Yes.
If lordship the diary has been received, then lordship I have been permitted to proceed lordship.
Yes.
Lordship, on the basis of the far-fetched allegation, lordship, it is said by the informant when his father, after taking meal, has retired to the bed, and in the meantime, when he arose up to attend the court of nature, lordship, then found the father missing, lordship. And after much search, lordship, it was alleged that the father was found tied in a gunny bags in a ditch nearby the lordship, the house of the informant. Further, lordship, it is said that some 5 and 6 months ago, the girls of the community of this petitioner has got married with the community of the informant. Therefore, might this petitioner having the lordship motive to eliminate the father of the informant?
Okay. Heard Mr. Satyaprakash Parashar, learned advocate for the petitioners and so for the state.
Surender Kumar.
The petitioners seek
On
bail.
behalf of the informant, my lord.
Who is for the informant?
I am Vijay Kumar Sinha.
And Mr. Vijay Kumar Sinha, Mr. Vijay Kumar Sinha for the informant and so for the state. We are granting bail to them. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so. The father of the informant was found dead in a ditch. The informant suspected the hands of the petitioners because of some because of a controversial marriage between the boy belonging to the family of the informant and the girl of the village of the petitioners. It was in this connection that the petitioners are alleged to have threatened the informant of dire consequences in the past. Only on the aforesaid basis, it has been suspected that the petitioners may have participated in the occurrence, namely, participated in the occurrence of killing the deceased. Land Council for the petitioners has submitted that beyond such wild suspicion, there is no other material to connect the petitioners with the offense. The threatening given by the so-called threatening given by the petitioners has also not been confirmed during the course of investigation. Merely on that account, no prosecution could be merely on that account, the petitioners cannot be asked to the petitioners cannot be sent to the petitioners cannot be refused anticipatory bail. For the reasons of there is nothing, no concrete material with regard to the complicity of the petitioners could be collected during the course of investigation. Considering the aforenoted submissions and background facts, the provisional bail granted to the petitioners by order dated 17/12/2021 is hereby confirmed. The petitioners shall remain on the same bail bonds. The application stands allowed accordingly.
06, Mr. Rishikesh.
Yes. Yes.
06 Mr. Rishi, हम join नहीं केले.
Yesterday also it was passed over. Anyway.
स्टेट माइलॉर्ड प्रेजेंट है, पवन कुमार चौरसिया.
लिख दीजिएगा ऊपर पवन कुमार चौरसिया. पास.
07 Mr. Dr. Kamaldev Sharma.
Lordship, appear on behalf of petitioner.
Yes.
Lordship, इसमें सप्लीमेंट्री कल भी हुआ है.
कल
आदेश लॉर्डशिप, इसमें एलिगेशन था नल जल योजना के तहत हमको मिला था. लॉर्डशिप, वही नल जल योजना में एलिगेशन है कि ये लोग गबन किया गया है इनके द्वारा 9,60,000 का. यही एफआईआर है हुजूर, पेज नंबर 13 पर. Petitioner is
just a minute, give me 1 minute, Mr. Kamaldev Sharma. Again, the petitioners who are heard Mr. Kamaldev Sharma, learned advocate for the petitioners,
Madan Kumar Huzur state
and Mr. Madan Kumar for the state. The petitioners who are the ward chairman and ward secretary of Ward number 11 of Gram Panchayat Bagain respectively seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with Bagain Gola PS case number so-and-so dated so-and-so instituted for the offences under section so-and-so. They are alleged to have withdrawn rupees 9,60,000 towards execution of the construction work under the Chief Minister Drinking Water Scheme, but no work has allegedly been done by them. Similar was the allegation against the ward chairman and secretary of another ward, with which the petitioners are not concerned. It has been urged on behalf of the petitioners that in the first instance, an amount of rupees 9,60,000 was credited in the bank account of the petitioners, for which the entire work was done. However, after the lodging of the FIR also, an amount of rupees 4,21,000 and amount of rupees 4 lakhs was further deposited in the account of the petitioners. Whatever money was found to be in excess of the work already executed through the petitioners has been returned to the state treasury on 13th of January 2022. There are no dues against the petitioners, and the present prosecution is a hastily drawn FIR without confirming the actual state of facts. Considering the aforementioned submissions on behalf of the petitioner, on behalf of the petitioners, they are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
Oblige, Lordship.
C9, Mr. Pramod Misra.
Lord, the relevant page of FIR is at page 11. At the instance of one MLA, the case has been lost, and allegation is हुजूर कि क्षमता से ज्यादा चावल गोदाम में पाया गया, इसीलिए यह डिफॉल्केशन का केस है। वेग एलिगेशन लॉर्ड।
आप कौन हैं?
एक्सिक्यूटिव हुजूर है हम।
एक पता किया आपने, इसमें हमने बेल दिया है।
जी हुजूर, हुजूर के द्वारा क्रिमिनल मिस नंबर 15150 of 2021.
150 of 150 of 2021.
15150.
15150 of 2021.
21.
इसमें ऑर्डर कब दिया है?
28 तारीख का हुजूर है, 28/2/22।
28/2/22 का है। फैक्ट्स देख लेना। इस एग्जीक्यूटिव क्या है, इसका पोस्ट क्या है?
ये हुजूर हम है कार्यपालक सहायक, एक्सिक्यूटिव असिस्टेंट।
Executive assistant of the Gram Panchayat in terms of the same order. All right, allowed. चलो।
Serial 10, Mr. Arvind Kumar Singh.
May please your lordship, I am appearing on behalf of petitioner, my lord.
Yes.
Application for anticipatory bail, my lord. The main offence is 307 of the Indian Penal Code. The case of the informant is that, my lord, the petitioner and two others were making drainage in the land of the informant, over which the informant raised objection, and then it is alleged that all the three accused, including petitioner, started abusing and doing market. And then in the meantime, the father of the informant came, and it is alleged that petitioner assaulted by means of the rasa on the head of the father of the informant, my lord, due to which his head cut. This is the allegation. There is also counter version, my lord. I have stated in para number 6, my lord. First case is of the petitioner, my lord, and this is the counter blast case, my lord. And in the impugned order, it has clearly come, my lord. The injury report is up till now reserved, my lord. Petitioner has no criminal history. Both are Gotia of the same village, my lord.
देखिए, the petitioner heard Mr. Arvind Kumar Singh, learned advocate for the petitioner and so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with so. He is alleged to have assaulted the father of the informant by means of khanti on his head. The nature of injuries on the father of the informant could not be assessed till date for want of medical investigation. Learned counsel for the petitioner has submitted that there is a counter version of the occurrence also lodged by him against the informant of the subject of FIR and others. Call for the case diary and the injury reports of the victims, reports of the victims, and list this matter on receipt of the same on 1st of April. The petitioner, in the meanwhile, in the event of his arrest or surrender, shall be released on provisional bail on his furnishing bonds in the sum of rupees 10,000 to 2 sureties of like amount. अगर ये इंजरी ग्रीवस हो जाएगी तो मैं बेल नहीं दूंगा.
Okay, my lord.
All right.
11, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar.
Wait, please, your lordship, my lord.
Yes.
Application for anticipatory bail, my lord. Offences under section 307, 379 and other sections of the Indian Penal Code, my lord. In the present case, the informant has filed this case against his brother and brother's family, my lord, stating inter alia that on account of prior land dispute, my lord, these accused persons came, and it is alleged that
What is the nature of injury suffered by all of them?
Rita Devi, the wife of the informant, injury is simple in nature, in Excerpt 2 at page 12, my lord. And so far as the informant is concerned, my lord, his injury report was not produced before the court below. That has come in the order sheet itself. His injury report is not on the record. And moreover, a main accusation is against Kishori Das, the brother of the informant, who is in custody, my lord, in this case, my lord. And these are ladies, my lord.
Okay. Heard Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of the arrest in connection with so and so. The petitioners are alleged to have taken part in the assault, but the accusation of assaulting the informant and his wife has specifically been attributed to Kishori Das.
नहीं, इन पर भी है हुजूर, लेकिन ऑमनिबस टाइप का है, स्पेसिफिक
किशोरी, वही तो लिखा है किशोरी दास, who is the father of petitioners number 1 and 3 and husband of petitioner number 2. There is a dispute between the family and the parties are directly related to each other. The occurrence, the report about the occurrence is said to have been made after 7 days, and the subject of FIR saw the light of the day only after 8 days, even when the distance from the police station to court is negligible. The injury suffered by the wife of the informant is stated to be simple in nature, whereas the nature of injury on the informant could not be assessed, and the same was never produced for inspection of the court below. However, the injuries suffered by the victims are specifically attributable to Kishori Das, who is in custody. Regard being had to the aforestated facts and taking into account the relationship of the petitioners with the informant and the with the informant slash victim, with the informant and victims, with the informant slash victims and their gender, they are directed to be released in the event of the arrest or surrender 10,000.
See, told Mr. Ashok Kumar.
May I please your lordship anticipate here, my lord, measure section 307 IPC, my lord. इसमें जो 4 पेटिशनर है, इसमें सितंबर यादव पर जो है इंफॉर्मेंट को दबिया से माथा पर मारने का एलिगेशन है, और रेस्ट को जो है लाठी डंडा भाला से जो है रेस्ट को मारने का एलिगेशन है। जो केस एनकाउंटर केस है, गोतिया है, लाइन डिस्प्यूट है, सिंपल इंजुरी है, कोई क्रिमिनल इंसिडेंट नहीं है।
All injuries are simple.
जी, एनेक्टर 3 माय लॉर्ड पेज 20 से आगे लगाए हुए हैं। सब इंजुरी।
How many persons have been injured?
5 person my lord.
सबकी इंजरी सिंपल है
जी।
और आपके तरफ इंजरी है कि नहीं?
नहीं है हुजूर,
आपके तरफ इंजरी नहीं है।
हमारे तरफ से दूसरा काउंटर केस है, 354 बी का है, एनेक्चर 2 पेज।
ऑलराइट, क्या नाम है आपका? विमल कुमार ना?
जी जी।
You are Bimal Kumar?
Yes, my lord. Bimal Kumar.
नहीं, बिमल कुमार तो दूसरे हैं, आप उनकी जगह पे बहस कर रहे हैं।
जी नहीं, बिमल कुमार ही हैं हम।
ऑल राइट, दूसरे बिमल कुमार की हैं, मैं जानता हूँ एक और बिमल कुमार,
ठाकुर जी के जूनियर।
और heard Mr. Bimal Kumar, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. Stop. The petitioner number 1 is said to have assaulted the informant by means of a dhabia, whereas petitioners number 2, 3, and 4 are said to have taken part in the assault, but the weapons used by them has been stated to be lathi and hard blunt substance. Lathi, a hard blunt substance. The injuries suffered by 5 of the victims have been reported to be simple in nature. There is a counter version of the occurrence also, in which there has been an allegation against the members of the prosecution party of misbehaving with the female folks of the house of the petitioners. The parties are agnates, and it appears that the cause of occurrence is something else than what has been projected in the subject of fire. Considering the aforementioned facts, especially the injuries, especially the counter case and the injuries on the victims being simple in nature, the petitioners are directed to be released 10,000.
30, Mr. Rajesh Kumar.
Yes.
Say 30, Mr. Rajesh Kumar.
Password.
Still 40, Mr. Ajit Kumar Singh.
Well, this is an application for anticipatory bail in section 307 and other sections of the Indian Penal Code. That due cross by the cow, my lord, a market took place. So far, the petitioner number 1 is concerned, my lord. He hit the side lock of head, my lord, and petitioner number 2, my lord, gave blow, my lord, to the wife of the informant, my lord, due to which, my lord, her hand was left scapula was fractured, my lord. My lord, there is a case and counter case. Our case is in Annexure 2, my lord, and date of occurrence is, my lord, 6/6/20, and after 2 days, this FIR was lodged. That is, and most important point is, my lord, that police station is hardly 3 kilometers. And my lord, that thereafter, my lord, a compromise has arrived in between the parties. That is Annexure 3, my lord. And I have annexed Annexure 4, my lord, that only 2 injuries are grievous. But my lord will see, my lord, from the FIR that the allegation is made by informant, my lord, that they were hit by lathi. So far, the injury sustained by them is by sharp cut injury, my lord.
इंजरी कहाँ है देखा?
Yes, page 24 पर देखा जाएगा ओपिनियन में. This injury is nature of sharp cut with grievous. Last line, opinion. But the allegation is that they were hit by lathi, my lord. And moreover, my lord, the compromise has arrived in between the parties, my lord. They are not criminals, my lord.
That's right.
Pardon, my lord?
That's right. Yes.
Heard Mr. Ajit Kumar Singh, learned advocate for petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. Over a trivial issue of the cow having grazed the land of the informant, having strayed in the land of the informant, having strayed over the land of the informant, an occurrence took place in which the informant and his wife are said to have been assaulted. Though the petitioners are said to have assaulted the victims of this case, and some of the injuries received by them have been reported to be grievous, but the Land Council for the petitioners submitted that the informant has chosen not to prosecute. Informant has chosen to take a decision of not prosecuting the petitioners any further, as the parties are agnates, and there was no intention on the part of the petitioners to cause any bodily injury to the victims. It has also been submitted that it has also been submitted on behalf of the petitioners that the accusation under the other sections of the IPC, namely 354 and 379, are also not made out against the petitioners. For the reasons aforestated and taking into account the clean antecedents of the petitioners, they are directed to be released in the event of arrest to surrender 10,000.
If my lord's pleasure, just now passed over case, my lord, somehow link नहीं पकड़ा पाया हुजूर. Just pass over.
All right. उसके पहले जो पासवर्ड क्या था?
13 में सर राजेश कुमार.
Yes.
May I please, your lordship? The main offense alleged, my lord, 307, 379 is also there. Though, my lord, other accused named in FIR have been granted bail, but the case of this petitioner is somehow different because against him there is allegation. Land dispute is there. My lord, kindly see page 20 is the FIR. आज दिनांक 4 बजे हमारे खेत के बगल वाले जनेसर साहब सो संदीप कुमार सो एवं पत्नी आए कंधा उखाड़ने से रोकने लगे कि हमारा खेत में जब कंधा उखाड़ रहे थे तो जनेसर साहब ललन साहब लाठी से हमारे पिता एवं माता को मारपीट करने लगे. हल्ला सुनकर ये काउंटर वर्सन हो गया हुजूर. और अपना जो वर्सन था उसमें इस पर एलिगेशन है, सॉरी मिलर्ड, एट पेज 15 द मेन FIR ऑफ प्रेजेंट केस. बांध रहे थे, जमीन का मेड़ बांध रहे थे, पेज 15 पर हुजूर. अमेरिका सिंह कविंदर मुझे गाली गलौज करते हुए आए, यहाँ से भागो, यह जमीन हम लोगों का है. तब मैं बोला कि उस जमीन का मापी अमीन से कराया गया ये जमीन. इसी बात पर दोनों व्यक्ति अपने परिवार को ललकार को बुलाए, चित्रंजन, विकास, राम कृपाल, अमेरिका दी पिटिशनर मिलर्ड नाम सभी अपने अपने हाथ में लाठी डंडा लेकर आए. मुझे बेरहमी से मारपीट, अमेरिका सिंह ने अपने हाथ में लिए खंती से मारकर मेरा सर फाड़ दिया. मुझे बचाने मेरे सहोदर भाई ललन साहब एवं उनकी पत्नी आई, मेरे भाई ललन साहब को भी उक्त लोगों ने मारकर सर फाड़ दिया. अब इंजरी हमने लगा दिया है हुजूर. अदर एक्यूज्ड पर्संस को ऑफ कोर्स देयर केस इज डिफरेंट टू दैट ऑफ दिस पिटिशनर अमेरिका, लेकिन लैंड डिस्प्यूट एडमिटेडली है हुजूर. इंजरी एनेक्सर 3 सीरीज में हमने लगा दिया, सिंपल इन नेचर. में
Heard Mr. Ramakant Sharma, learned senior advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with so and so. The petitioner is said to have assaulted the informant by means of a hard and blunt substance on his head, but he has received only simple injuries. First off, there is an admitted land dispute between the parties, and they are agnates as well. First off, the son of the petitioner has also filed a case against the informant of the present case and others, White Banshi PS case number 38 of 2018. First off, the investigation against the petitioner is complete and charge sheet has been submitted, White charge sheet number 68 of 2018. The occurrence, is said to have taken place over the dispute regarding uprooting of tapioca from the field over which there is a competing claim. Taking into account the frivolous nature of the dispute between the parties, and because of the intercession of local people, a settlement has been arrived at between the parties, and the informant now does not wish to prosecute the petitioner any further. Taking into account the aforementioned facts, the petitioner is directed to be released in the event of arrest to surrender 10,000.
ऑब्लाइज नोट, जहाँ एग्नेट लिख दिया गया, एग्नेट नहीं है हुजूर, दोनों दो कास्ट का है. एग्नेट वाला वर्ड काइंडली.
ऑलराइट, अशोक कुमार सिंह.
My lord, 3 petitions, my lord, offense under section 307, 379 other alerts. एक चीज हुजूर हमको कहना था, एक सीरियल 33 पर हुजूर इसी PS से एक और केस है, अदर पिटिशनर, अदर एक्यूज्ड का.
ठीक, आप इसको बहस करिए, 33 देख लेंगे.
जी अच्छा जी. 3 पिटिशनर है हुजूर, केस काउंटर केस है हुजूर. इस पे दोनों साइड इंजुरी है हुजूर. FIR पेज 12 पर है हुजूर भाई।
पढ़िए
जी। इसमें है हुजूर कि आज दिनांक 6/8/2020 को समय करीब 9 बजे मेरी चाची निर्मला देवी उम्र इतना जब गोबर फेंकने के लिए गई, तब संजय कुमार, दूसरा शेखर कुमार, मनीष कुमार, श्री राम, प्रशांत कुमार, जयराम, सॉरी, प्रशांत कुमार, जयराम सिंह, सभी थाना ओबरा, जिला औरंगाबाद का स्थायी निवासी हैं। जब मेरी चाची गोबर फेंकने गई तो पहले से ही घात लगाकर सभी अभियुक्त पहले से लाठी, डंडा, तलवार एवं खंती लेकर अचानक हमला करते हुए भद्दी भद्दी गाली गलौज करते हुए और लाठी से मारकर चाची का दाहिना हाथ संजय सिंह, पिटिशनर नहीं है हुजूर, तोड़ दिए एवं प्रशांत कुमार मेरा गला का चैन छीन लिया है, पिटिशन नंबर 3 है हुजूर, जो कि लगभग 20 ग्राम का है। हल्ला सुनकर हम सौरभ कुमार जब गए तब हमको भी मारने लगा, जिससे मनीष कुमार तलवार लिए मेरे सर पर मारा, जिससे मैं सर फट गया। हल्ला सुनकर मेरे पिताजी राकेश सिंह पहुंचे तो तब शेखर सिंह खंती से मारा, पिताजी का नाक कट गया। हल्ला सुनकर ग्रामीण आए हुजूर। केस काउंटर कैसा, जो दोनों साइड इंजुरी हो जो हम लगा दिए 103 और 4, और हुजूर केस कंप्रोमाइज हो गया है। कंप्रोमाइज के आधार पर हुजूर काउंटर केस में हुजूर के द्वारा भी अदर साइड का सभी को हुजूर बेल हुआ है।
33 में कौन है पिटिशनर का नाम?
33 में हुजूर संजय सिंह है, हुजूर शेखर सिंह और मनीष कुमार, दोनों अपने गोतियां हैं हुजूर। कंप्रोमाइज हो गया है हुजूर, पारा 17 में हम लिखे हुए। इसी
Heard Mr. Ashok Kumar Singh, learned advocate for the petitioners in both the cases. Both the applications arise out of the same FIR, and hence they are disposed of by common order. The petitioners in both the cases seek bail in anticipation of the arrest in connection with so. The accusation against the petitioners is of assaulting various members of the prosecution party. There is a counter version of the occurrence also. There has been injuries from both sides. Since the parties are related to each other, a conscious decision has been taken by both the sides not to prosecute each other any further. On the basis of the aforesaid settlement, the accused persons of the counter case have been granted anticipatory bail by this court. Regard being had to the aforementioned facts, the petitioners in miscellaneous number so are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender in house.
Obliged.
Upendra Kumar State.
State.
Upendra Kumar State.
Upendra Kumar State. Yes.
The 60, Mr. Vinod Kumar.
May I please your lordship anticipatory bail under 7E exercise EC Act, your lordship. Lordship allegation, your lordship, the complaint, your lordship. PDS shop, your lordship, of one of accused, your lordship, was inspected, your lordship, and during inspection, your lordship, 13.36 quintal wheat and 70.4 quintal rice was, your lordship, found shortage, your lordship. Petitioner is not, your lordship, dealer, your PDS dealer, your lordship. PDS dealer, your lordship, one Kuldeep, your lordship, falsely has been implicated in this very case, your lordship.
नहीं, आप पीडीएस शॉप किसका है?
पीडीएस शॉप कुलदीप मांझी का है हुजूर, वन कुलदीप मांझी का।
और आप कौन है?
हम हैं कुछ नहीं हुजूर। आजा हमको इससे कोई मतलब नहीं है हुजूर, इस शॉप से न
एफआईआर में आपके बारे में क्या लिखा है? आप वैसे बेकार की बहस नहीं कर रहे। एफआईआर में क्या लिखा है?
के बारे में लिखा है कि उनका सहायक है, इनको जो है ना धारा की जिम्पी ऑर्डर में इसको तक दे दिया गया कि भी।
तो आप बोलिए इस बात का, कहाँ पर लिखा है? पढ़िए पढ़िए एफआईआर।
लॉर्ड एफआईआर है हुजूर।
सहायक नहीं
सादर सूचित करना है कि ग्रामीण जनता
जब बहस करिए तो जो करेक्ट फैक्ट है वो कोर्ट के सामने कह देना चाहिए। इधर उधर घुमा के कहने से अपना ही नुकसान करते हैं आप। You are the nominee. You are the nominee of the PDS licensee, which does not make you liable under EC Act. Simple जो बात लिखा हुआ है FIR में उसी को कहिए, उसी पर आपको रिलीफ मिल जाएगा। इधर उधर की बात करने लगता है मिस्टर विनोद कुमार। When you know the court, still you don't bend your ways. That irritates the court. आप FIR एक करने का पढ़ना है, उसको पढ़िएगा नहीं और हमारा कुछ नहीं है, हमारा कुछ नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है तो आपको there is no apprehension of arrest. I am dismissing your petition. कुछ नहीं है तो बेल मांगने क्यों आए?
कहा गया हुजूर कि कुलदीप मांझी के दुकान की जांच दिनांक इतना
बात कह रहे हैं उसको समझने का प्रयास नहीं कर रहे, जवाब दे रहे हैं।
समझ रहे हैं हुजूर, सॉरी।
Heard Mr. Vinod Kumar, learned advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with so and so, registered for offence under section 7 of the EC Act. First up, on physical verification of the public distribution shop of one Kuldeep Manji, food grains, subsidized food grains were found in less quantity than what was being displayed in the ePOS machine. First up, the petitioner is sought to be prosecuted in this case on the premise of his being the nominee of the licensee, namely Kuldeep Manji. First up, learned counsel for the petitioner has submitted that notwithstanding the learned counsel for the petitioner has submitted that even if this accusation against him is found to be true, the offense under the EC Act cannot be said to have been made out against him, as he is not the licensee as on date of the PDS shop which was inspected. First off, apart from this, it has been submitted that there could be myriad reasons for the mismatch between the existing stock in the godown of a PDS public distribution shop and its display on the ePOS machine, capital E, then POSH, ePOS machine. First up, the ePOS machine. First up, for the aforesaid mismatch, there is a provision for issuance of notice and suspension of license of the petitioner, which could even be cancelled under section 28 of the Bihar Targeted Public Distribution System Control Order 2016. First up, learned counsel for the petitioner has submitted that the offence under the EC Act cannot at all be said to have been made out against him. For the reasons aforestated, 10,000.
Selected Mr. Anant Kumar Bhaskar.
May I please lordship? Petitioner number 1 जो है सो अरेस्ट हो चुके हैं, इसलिए I may be allowed to withdraw his prayer for bail, my lord. Neeraj Yadav has been arrested, my lord.
All right.
So far, my lord, allegation is concerned, my lord, that is under 147, 149, 323, 507, 307 IPC and 3/4 Diane Act, my lord. Page 10 is the, my lord, फर्दबयान, my lord, which is the basis of the FIR, my lord. फर्दबयान में नीरज यादव पर और एक धीरज कुमार है, उन पे हुजूर स्पेसिफिक एलिगेशन है मारने का। नीरज यादव हुजूर अरेस्ट हो चुके हो, वहां से उनका बेल हो गया है, और धीरज को भी हुजूर वो माइनर है, इसलिए वो भी वहां से जेजे बोर्ड के द्वारा हम पर कोई, हम लोगों को जो अरेस्ट 4 लोग हैं, कोई स्पेसिफिक एलिगेशन नहीं है। हमने हुजूर पेज 14 पे इंजरी रिपोर्ट लगा रखा है, वो सब के सब सिंपल नेचर है हुजूर। ये पटीदार है, पटीदार लोग आपस में झगड़ा किए हुए।
Neeraj Yadav has been granted bail.
My lord, by learned court below, my lord, after arrest, my lord, I have withdrawn his petition here, my lord.
पेंडेंसी में आपने बिना विड्रॉ कराए वहां अच्छा अरेस्ट हो गए, ठीक है, लिखिए।
अरेस्ट हो गए हुजूर।
Mr. Anant Kumar Bhaskar, learned advocate for the petitioner, seeks permission to withdraw the application with respect to petitioner number 1, who was arrested during the pendency of this application, but was granted bail by the court below. First up, petitioners number two, the application with respect to petitioner number 1 is dismissed as having become infructuous. Petitioners number 2 to 5 seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so-and-so. First up, the specific accusation is against one Neeraj Yadav, whose application has been withdrawn, and one Dheeraj, who is a minor. So far as the petitioners are concerned, the allegation against them of assaulting the members of the family of the informant on the charge of the informant practicing sorcery is absolutely general and omnibus. The injuries suffered by the victims have been reported to be simple in nature. Learned counsel for the petitioner has drawn the attention of this court to the fact that the petitioners number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the brother-in-laws, are related to the informant. First off, the informant is the distant sister-in-law of the aforesaid petitioners. The parties hail from the family of two brothers, namely late Lakhi Chand and late Sakhi Chand, respectively. First up, because of a family dispute, an occurrence has taken place, but the allegations against the petitioners and others have been overtly exaggerated. First up, considering the aforenoted submissions on behalf of the petitioners, number 2 to 5, they are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
Obliged, Lord.
Mr. Shanti Bhushan Singh.
Yes.
माइक ऑन कीजिए सर अपना शांति भूषण सिंह सर माइक ऑन कीजिए.
My lord, may I audible, my
बोलिए.
My lord, MTC Trivial application under section 406, 420, 466, 68 and 34 of the IPC, my lord. My lord, as per FIR, petitioner's name has came on the basis of confessional statement of arrested person संजीव कुमार राय. अलर्ट संजीव कुमार राय के कन्फेशन पर मेरा नाम आया है along with 2 other accused और कहते हैं कि ये लोग हम लोग मिल करके नोट बबलिंग करते हैं. हमारे पास से कोई काउंटरफिट करेंसी नहीं रिकवरी हुआ है. न माय लॉर्ड हम स्पॉट पर थे और माय लॉर्ड सिर्फ एक्सेप्ट कन्फेशन नथिंग हैज केम अगेंस्ट द पिटिशनर. नो एंटीसीडेंट माय लॉर्ड.
नकली नोट आप बैंक में जमा करते हैं?
माय लॉर्ड हम नहीं थे. संजीव कुमार राय मेरा नाम कहें भागने वाले व्यक्ति में माय लॉर्ड. ये
पढ़िए तो FIR.
यस माय लॉर्ड. सादर सूचित करना है कि मैं चकदर थाना सुगली अस्थायी निवासी हूँ तथा स्टेट बैंक शाखा फुलवरिया उसका टोला में प्रतिदिन निगरानी एवं सुरक्षा ड्यूटी में तैनात रहता हूँ. दिनांक स्वयं समय करीब स्वयं ड्यूटी के दौरान में 4 व्यक्तियों देखा कि बार-बार बैंक में आ रहे हैं और जा रहे हैं तथा लाइन में लगे लोग.
Third, Mr. Shanti Bhushan Singh, learned advocate for the
रामप्रिया फॉस्टेट मिलोड.
learned advocate. इसमें और जो 3 लोगों का नाम है उनका बेल हुआ खारिज हो गया?
माय लॉर्ड ये तो नहीं देखे हैं.
नहीं देखे हैं तो किसी एक का खारिज हो जाएगा उसी ग्राउंड पर और दूसरे को बेल हो जाएगा, ऐसा तो नहीं होना है. ये पता करके आप बताएंगे तो मैं ऑर्डर कुछ पास करूंगा.
माय लॉर्ड तो फ्यू केस अगर हो जाए तो
मंडे
हम अभी 2 केस
मंडे करिए. बस होगा.
ऑब्लाइज्ड माय लॉर्ड.
20 Mr. Devendra Narayan Singh.
Milords, the offences under section 307 and 379 and other minor sections of the penal code. According to allegation, Milords, on account of the dispute which arose between the parties who are agnates, Milords, on account of the taking share in the newly constructed house, the scuffle took place, in which, Milords, from both the sides, case and counter case. And so far, the allegation of making assault against these petitioners is concerned, my lord. The petitioner number 1 has been said to have assaulted the informant along with the co-accused Vikrama Rai by means of lathi. Injury is simple. The allegation against petitioner number 2, Naval Rai, of causing Milord's farsa injury on the head of Mantu Rai. And Milords, I have not got the injury report of the Mantu Rai.
All right.
Therefore, I could not Milords annex. And the allegation against petitioner number 3 of assaulting on the head of the victim Satyendra Rai by means of dab. That injury is, Milords, at page 25. That is, Milords, the nature of injury opinion has been reserved. An allegation of making assault with dab, but the doctor opined that the injury is pain injury, that is pain injury, has been caused by hard and blunt substance. Further, Milords, the allegation against petitioner number 4 of assaulting the victim Jitendra Rai on his head by means of farsa. The injury is simple there. That is annexure 5 at page 26.
Injury from your side also.
Milords, we are also injured, though I have not annexed the injuries from our side, and the compromise has taken place at page 27. And on the basis of said compromise, the Milords, accused persons in counter case have been granted bail, granted anticipatory bail.
Heard Mr. Devendra Nayan Singh, learned advocate for the petitioners and so on so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with Swanson. Over the issue of apportionment of share in a newly constructed house, a fight took place for which 2 cases have been lodged, semicolon, one the subject of FIR and the other lodged by co-accused Vikrama Rai. Members of both the families have been injured. Though one of the injuries on one of the victims in the subject of fire, on these one of the victims of the subject of fire has not been assessed to be simple in nature, but considering the frivolous nature of accusation and on intervention of the well-wishers of the 2 families, the parties have taken a conscious decision not to prosecute each other any further. On the basis of the aforesaid settlement between the parties, the accused persons of the counter case have been granted anticipatory bail by this court. Regard being had to the aforestated facts, the petitioners are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
Mr. Ranjit Tiwari.
May please your lordship. This is an application for grant of anticipatory bail in connection with Tekari PS case number 351 of 2019, offences under section 341, 325, 307, 379, 504 and 34 of Indian Penal Code. May I have a look page 13 of the petition, your lordship, a statement of the informant, your lordship. May I permit to read? निवेदन पूर्वक कहना है कि मैं रंजीत कुमार पिता महेश यादव, उम्र लगभग 30 वर्ष, ग्राम जलालपुर, थाना टिकारी, मऊ, ओपी का जिला गया है बताया हूँ। बीते 23/9/2019 के रात्रि लगभग 8:30 बजे अपने दरवाजे पर बैठा था कि अचानक मेरे ही गांव के रविंदर सिंह और शुभम कुमार आए। दोनों आकर बेवजह गाली गलौज करने लगे। रविंदर सिंह के हाथ में लोहे का रड था। मना करने पर बाताबाती होने लगा। बाताबाती के दौरान रविंदर सिंह मेरे पैर की ठोड़ी पर प्रहार किया और मैं बेहोश होकर गिर गया। मैं समाज के लोग आदमी आए और जख्मी हमें, परंतु मेरे ठूठी की हड्डी टूट चुका था। सुमित कुमार उम्र कोई लगभग 16 वर्ष, पिता रविंदर सिंह अपने घर से दौड़ते हुए तथा हाथ में एक देसी कट्टा लिए हुए आया और गाली गलौज करते हुए मेरे शरीर से लिपट गया और मुझे मारने लगा तथा मेरे गले का सोने का चेन छीन लिया। from the bare perusal of the statement of the informant, your lordship, the petitioner has played no role. He is only member of the mob. Allegation of assault against the Ravinder Singh and a snatching of gold chain against the Sumit Singh, both have been granted anticipatory bail, your lordship.
नहीं, आप माइनर
There is case and counter case.
अरे आप मिस्टर काइंडली हियर द कोर्ट, आप प्रावधान जानते हो फिर भी बहस कर रहे हैं। आप जुवेनाइल हैं, ये मेंटेनेबल नहीं है। जब कोर्ट ने कह दिया तो फिर क्यों आए हैं यहाँ?
Hajur, for in this respect, I want to place a judgment of the Ahmedabad High Court, your lordship, which is criminal miscellaneous number 6978. May I be permitted to file supplementary affidavit annexing this document, your lordship?
क्या है ये? इसमें क्या कहा है?
इसमें कहा है हजूर कि 439 बार नहीं करता है जुवेनाइल को।
तो हम इसमें बेल 439 बार नहीं करता है, वो हम नहीं मानते हैं वो जजमेंट को। ऐसा
हजूर हमको एक हमारे हम्बल प्रेयर वुड बी लेट प्रोविजनल बेल बी ग्रांटेड सो दैट अगर वो हजूर सरेंडर करेगा तो उसको तो जेल भेज दिया जाएगा फॉर असेसमेंट ऑफ द एज।
आप अगर माइनर हैं तो आपको जेल में नहीं रख सकता, ही हैज टू रिलीज यू। ऑफेंस भी वैसा नहीं है जिसमें आपकी उम्र क्या है?
हमारा उम्र 16 वर्ष से नीचे है हजूर।
तो फिर आप तो ऐसे आप अरे सुनिए तो सही
जी,
16 के ऊपर रहते तब ग्रेविटी ऑफ द ऑफेंस को देखते हुए अगर हीनस ऑफेंस रहता सेक्शन 2 सब क्लॉज 33 में, तब आपको असेसमेंट करके चिल्ड्रन कोर्ट में भेजता। यहाँ तो जुवेनाइल जस्टिस बोर्ड के पास कोई विकल्प नहीं है आपको रिलीज करने के अलावा।
तो इसी डायरेक्शन के साथ डिस्पोज ऑफ कर दिया जाए जो कि उस सेम डे हमको हजूर रिमांड होम की हालत हजूर बहुत खराब हो चुकी है।
रिमांड क्यों?
इसलिए हमारा हम
रिमांड आपको नहीं करेंगे ना, वो रिलीज कर देंगे। ये कानून हम लोग ने बना रखा है।
तो हजूर इसी के ऑब्जर्वेशन के साथ हमारा जो है सो डिस्पोजल कर दिया जाए।
ऐसा है कि जो बात कानून से मान्य है उसके लिए हम ये पिटीशन ही मेंटेनेबल नहीं है, इसलिए मेरे ऑब्जर्वेशन का इसमें कोई मतलब नहीं है।
तो हजूर इसको सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए हजूर हमको सप्लीमेंट्री देने का चाहे पासवर्ड है, एक वीक का समय दे दिया जाए, हम हजूर को संतुष्ट कर देंगे।
नहीं, संतुष्ट आप आज ही कर दिए हैं कि आप बेल डिजर्व करते हैं, लेकिन हमारे कोर्ट के पास कोई अधिकार नहीं है जुवेनाइल केस टेकअप करने का डायरेक्टली अंडर 439। वो जजमेंट आपने पढ़ा है, वो मैंने भी देखा है, उसका कोई वैल्यू नहीं।
in this
एनीवे मैं एक साइड ऑब्जर्वेशन देता हूं। मेंटेन
इसमें है,
सुनिए सर, लॉर्डशिप की बात को सुनिए।
सॉरी लॉर्डशिप,
मैं एक ऑब्जर्वेशन देता हूं। आप प्रोफेशनल एडवोकेट की तरह बहस करिए ना, इस तरह से बहस करेंगे तो बड़ा परेशानी।
सॉरी लॉर्डशिप,
आप अब मेंटेनेबल नहीं है तो मैं इसमें ऑब्जर्वेशन दे नहीं सकता हूं, लेकिन आप अगर बात नहीं समझ रहे तो कुछ आपको फायदा हो जाएगा, वैसा ऑर्डर हम इसको कर दे रहे हैं। लिखिए, मिस्टर मृत्युंजय कुमार सिंह, लर्नड एडवोकेट फॉर द पिटिशनर। ऐसे लिखो, the petitioner, ऐसे लिखो, this court has found that the petitioner is a minor and according to the learned counsel for the petitioner, he is less than 16 years of age.
At the time of occurrence.
Less than 16, he was less than 16 years of age at the time of the occurrence. In that view of the matter, the court below was absolutely justified in holding the petition for anticipatory bail to be not maintainable. The petitioner ought to have presented himself before the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Juvenile Justice Board, before the concerned Juvenile Justice Board. The apprehension of the petitioner that he shall be sent to remand home in a case of this kind is absolutely unfounded. Should the petitioner present himself before the Juvenile Justice Board, it would be the obligation of the Juvenile Justice Board to pass order in accordance with law as provided under the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. This petition being not maintainable in the present form, is dismissed. चलिए next.
Disposed of at least, your lordship.
Dispose of, आपको ऑब्जर्वेशन दे दिया, आपको हो जाएगा, कहीं कहीं उसमें कोई परेशानी नहीं. चलिए.
Series 23, Mr. Mohammad Nazmul Hoda.
Yes, this is an application for grant of anticipatory bail, my lord. The case has been registered, my lord, under section 307 IPC, besides other minor sections, and section 329, 354 IPC, my lord. There is general and omnibus allegation against all the accused person to assaulting the informant's father, uncle, and mother, my lord, and other inmates of the house, my lord. There is a specific allegation against petitioner, my lord, Firoz Ansari. Firoz बाद में मारने के बाद कहते हैं कि वो हो गया. फिरोज अंसारी के हाथ में सावल था और मुमताज अंसारी के हाथ में कुदाल था. सद्दाम अंसारी के हाथ में फरसा था, जिससे बौद्धि मंडल को जान मारने के ख्याल से फरसा चलाया, लेकिन सर तो बच गया, लेकिन उनका कान कट गया. ये इन दोनों के खिलाफ ये स्पेसिफिक एलिगेशन हुजूर है. पिटिशनर नंबर 1 के
कट गया, तो फिर मैं क्या करूँगा? किसके कारण कान कट गया?
ये कह रहे हैं कि वो
पढ़िए FIR पढ़िए, इसको पढ़ना मुश्किल है. पढ़िए FIR.
बोधि मंडल का कहते हैं कान कट गया.
एक मिनट, यहाँ टाइप कॉपी आपने दिया है, मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ.
जी.
तो ये सद्दाम ने कान काट दिया है.
या एलिगेशन सद्दाम के ऊपर है कि कान काट दिया, लेकिन बट देयर इज नो शार्प कट इंजरी अपॉन द बॉडी मंडल में.
इंजरी देखें,
ये पेज 13 पर हमने उनका बॉडी मंडल 18 पर, सॉरी मिलॉट, ऑन पेज 18 मिलॉट आंसर 2 सीरीज आई हैव नेक्स्ट. ये इसमें both the injuries has been found to be simple in nature, my lord, and no sharp cut injury, my lord.
ये कान कटने का तो इंजरी नहीं दिख रहा.
कान कटने का भी इंजरी नहीं है और कोई शार्प कट इंजरी भी नहीं है.
शार्प छोड़िए ना, कान कटने का पता नहीं कैसे.
कोई इंजरी नहीं. जी.
ठीक है. heard Mr. Abdul Mannan Khan, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. The accusation against the petitioners and others is of assaulting the members of the prosecution party. It has been urged on behalf of the petitioners that the injuries of the victims do not conform to the accusation made against them. Though there is general allegation against all the accused persons, but with respect to petitioner number 2, it has specifically been provided in the FIR that because of his assault, Bodhi, one of the victims lost one of his ears. However, the injury report of aforesaid Bodhi is not in consonance with the accusation made in the FIR. Some of the injuries on some of the victims have been found to be grievous in nature, but the dimensions of such injuries do not indicate that it was in any manner life-threatening. There is a counter version of the occurrence also. By Sono PS case number 208 of 2020. The dispute appears to have arisen over construction of a house on a plot of land. So far as the accusation under section 354 IPC is concerned, the same, it does not appear to have been made out. The allegation against the petition, the allegations under section 379 of the IPC appears to be superimposed, appears to be unnecessarily added in the column of the charges. First up. Considering the aforenoted submissions on behalf of the petitioners, they are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
24 Mr. Ranjit Kumar Misra.
Anticipatory bail application has been filed for grant of anticipatory bail under section 406, 420, 120B of Indian Penal Code 25, 1B, 35, 27 of the Arms Act, my lordship. The petitioner is named in the FIR, my lordship. As per the allegation, वो कहते हैं कि इनके दो स्टाफ पैसा कलेक्शन में गए थे, पैसा लेके आ रहे थे, उसी बीच में कहते हैं कि पैसा इनका लूट लिया गया, उसमें फायरिंग हुई। बाद में उसे पूछताछ किया, उसी स्टाफ को एक्यूज्ड बनाया जाता है, वो हमारा नाम कन्फेस करते हैं, उसी आधार मेरा नाम आया हुआ। कहते कि इस अंजाम को, इस घटना को अंजाम जैक, राज और इन लोगों ने दिया है। उनके कन्फेशन को भी मेरा नाम आता है।
नहीं, बाद में उनका दो स्टाफ भी एक्यूज्ड बन गया।
जी जी हो, जिनसे कहते हैं लूट, जिससे कहता छीना गया है, वो एक्यूज बन गया, वही मेरा नाम कन्फेस करता है एज ए राज।
तो आप यू आर अ कॉन्स्पिरेटर।
हुजूर,
व्हाट इज योर
हुजूर नाम राज किया गया, पुलिस ने बाद में उसको इन्वेस्टिगेशन में पूरा नाम और पिता का नाम हुजूर ले आया। FIR में हुजूर सिर्फ राज एवं अन्य, और बाद में पुलिस ने मेरा नाम राज इलियस राजकुमार करके और पिता का नाम लिख के ऐड कर दिया। मेरा कोई एंटीसीडेंट हुजूर नहीं है इसमें।
देखें, देखिए, heard Mr. Ranjit, I'm not convinced. You are, if the matter would have ended on your name having been taken by an arrested accused person, the situation would have been different. But the person who names you has later become an accused. Therefore, there is every possibility of your having conspired for duping the informant of the money, the sale proceeds. And you, perhaps, you have cooperated that employee of the informant. It's not a case of simple confession. Anyway, we'll see the diary. Look here.
Give me some more information, my lordship. My lordship, give a kind of
let me see if it comes in my mind when I dictate the first part of the order. We'll see. We'll see. Heard Mr. Ranjit Kumar Mishra, learned advocate for the petitioner and so on so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with so and so. The two staff of the informant who were coming back after collecting the sale proceeds were waylaid by miscreants. One of the miscreants was arrested, who has disclosed, one of the miscreants was arrested. One of the miscreants was arrested. First up, during the course of investigation, the own staff of the informant was made an accused, and the name of the petitioner has transpired in the statement of the aforesaid staff of the informant. Staff का क्या हुआ? उसको बेल मिला?
जी नहीं हुजूर, उसको अभी तक यहाँ से बेल नहीं मिला।
Call for the case diary and list this matter on receipt of the same on 1st of April. We are not inclined to grant you provisional bail.
24 Mr. Ravi Prakash.
May please lordship.
Yes.
Application for anticipatory bail under section Lordship 147, 341, Major Section 307, 379 of the IPC Lordship. FIR named 8 person Lordship. All are family member accused in this case Lordship. Petitioner number 1, Ram Kumar Das, and co-accused father of the petitioner number 1, Dukhi Das, taken Tangari and assaulted to the informant's Lordship. And 2, 3, 4 Lordship thrown bricks on the informant and others person Lordship. Case encountered case Lordship. Injury report I have annexed 2, 20 to 25 Lordship. All injury are simple in nature Lordship. Annexure 4 Lordship. Page number 30. अरे father
Heard Mr. Ravi Prakash, learned advocate for the petitioners and so on so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. The petitioners, though, are alleged to have assaulted the members of the prosecution party over a dispute which had erupted over cutting of bamboo clumps, but the accusation is general and omnibus. The victims have all received simple injuries. The petitioners, they have received simple injuries. There is the simple injuries first up. The Land Council for the petitioner submitted that there is a counter version of the occurrence also. Wide Jayanagar PS case number. No. The Land Council for the petitioner has further drawn the attention of this court to the fact that in the past there was series of litigation between the parties, and therefore the possibility of falsely implicating the petitioners cannot be ruled out. Regard being had to the aforestated facts, namely the background of enmity, and taking into account that the victims have received only simple injuries on their persons, the petitioners are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
26, Mr. Manoj Kumar.
Yes.
My lord. Case encounter case, my lord. And both sides were injured, my lord. Petitioner is the informant of the counter case, my lord. And injury is simple in nature, and my lord, a specific allegation against कहते हैं कि धारदार हथियार से इन्होंने हमला किए हैं इन्फॉर्मेंट अति पटिशनर ने हुजूर, लेकिन इंजूरी रिपोर्ट एनेक्टर 3 है हुजूर, और मेरा बेटा को जो मारे हैं इन लोग, जो हम PMCH में भर्ती हमारा बेटा है था हुजूर, और इंजूरी हुआ हुजूर पेज 21 पर 24 पर हुजूर, सिंपल इन नेचर है, हार्ड एंड ब्लंट है हुजूर.
Like I heard Mr. Manoj Kumar, learned advocate for the petitioner and so on so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of her arrest in connection with so and so. Though she is said to have exhorted her family members and also assaulted one of the victims, but the injuries have been found to be simple in nature. It has further been submitted on behalf of the petitioners that there is no specific accusation of assault as against the petitioner. The petitioner has also lodged a case against the informant of the subject 07 and other sections of the IPC. There is a delay of 10 days in lodging the FIR. Considering the aforementioned facts and taking into account the gender of the petitioner, she is directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
Serial 27, Mr. Chandra Mohan Jha.
My lord,
In this case, my lord, there are 4 petitioners, my lord. Petitioner number 2, Nand Kumar Sa alias Delhi Sa, has been arrested by the police, my lord, and he has granted bail, my lord.
1, 3 and 4 का बहस करिए.
My lord, this is anticipatable major section is 307, my lord. And other sections are available, my lord. My lord, kindly see the allegation at page 15, my lord.
Yes.
May I read, my lord? थोड़ा
Please.
सा FIR. निवेदन पूर्वक कहना है कि मैं शत्रुघ्न शाह बल्द चूहा शाह साकिन ग्राम डुबरी थाना माझी जिला सारण का अस्थायी निवासी हूँ। आज दिनांक 17/5/2020 को समय करीब 12 बजे दिन में मैं अपने अर्धनिर्मित मकान का पिलर ढलवा रहा था कि अचानक मेरे ही गांव के अमरजीत शाह पेटिशन नंबर 4 बल्द स्वर्गीय प्रभुनाथ शाह आए तथा अभद्र गाली देते हुए बोले कि साला तुमसे बोले थे कि बगैर पैसा दिए तुम काम मत करना। जब मैं गाली देने से मना किया तो वो वापस अपने घर चला गया तथा बोला कि रुको मैं तुम्हें अमरजीत शाह, भूषण शाह, जगदीश शाह, जयश्री शाह, डेली शाह, अर्जुन शाह, 14 शाह, सरोज शाह पेटिशन नंबर 1 सभी नाजायज मजमा बनाकर अवैध देसी पिस्टल, लाठी, डंडा, रड, फरसा, तलवार एवं घातक हथियार से लेस होकर मेरे घर आकर जानलेवा हमला कर दिए तथा अमरजीत शाह अपने हाथ में लिए तलवार से जान मारने के नियत से मेरे सर पर प्रहार किया। पेटिशन नंबर 4 के बारे में कहा जा रहा है, जिससे मेरा सर कट गया तथा खून गिरने लगा। मैं जमीन पर गिर पड़ा तो भूषण शाह पेटिशन नंबर 1, जितेंद्र शाह, मोतीलाल शाह लाठी रड डंडा से तबातोड़ मारकर गंभीर रूप से घायल कर दिए। मुझे बचाने मेरा भतीजा नगेंद्र शाह आया तो उसे जान मारने की नियत से संतोष कुमार चाकू से गर्दन पर वार किया, जो बचाने के क्रम में दाढ़ी पर लगा, कटकर खून बहने लगा। राजकुमार पेटिशन नंबर 3 माय लॉर्ड, जयश्री शाह एवं राजश्री शाह रड लाठी से मारकर गंभीर रूप से जख्मी कर दिया। उसे बचाने मेरी नतनी अंजलि कुमारी आई तो अजीत कुमार बुरी तरह से अखबारी में पकड़कर जमीन पर पटक दिया तथा डेली शाह माय लॉर्ड ही हैज बीन अरेस्टेड जान मारने के नियत से फरसा से उसके सिर पर मारा, जिससे उसका सिर कट गया तथा खून बहने लगा तथा जगदीश शाह उनके नाभि पर चढ़कर अपनी एरी से जान मारने की नियत से जोर से दबाने लगा। हल्ला की आवाज सुनकर मेरी पुतोह गीता देवी आई तो उसे सरोज शाह बाल पकड़कर जमीन पर पटक दिए तथा बुरी नियत से साड़ी खींचने लगे, जिससे वो अर्धनग्न हो गई। तत्पश्चात मुकेश शाह गमछा का फंदा बनाकर गर्दन में डालकर हत्या करने की नियत से मुकेश शाह तथा अर्जुन कुमार विपरीत दिशा में खींचने लगे, जिससे उसका दम घुटने लगा।
Mr. Chandramohan Jha, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. Mr. Jha seeks permission to withdraw the application with respect to petitioner number 2, who has been arrested during the pendency of this bail petition. Stop. The application with respect to petitioner number 2 is dismissed as having become infractuous. Petitioners number 1, 3, and 4 seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. Though there is accusation against the petitioners in the first information report of having assaulted the members of the prosecution party at the time of construction of a house, but the Land Council for the petitioner has submitted that the accusation is absolutely general and omnibus. There is a counter version of the case. There is a counter version of the case also lodged by one Tetri Devi, who is the wife of one of the co-accused persons of this case. A land dispute between the parties is pending for a long time, and a proceeding under section 144 was also initiated between the parties. There is a dispute over the claim. There is a dispute regarding the claim over the land in question, where the construction is said to have been begun by the informant. The injuries received by almost all the victims have been reported to be simple in nature and caused by hard and blunt substance. On the basis of the aforestated facts, Mr. Jha, learned counsel for the petitioner, has tried to argued that the offense under section 307 of the IPC cannot at all be said to have been made out. For the aforementioned facts and taking into account that petitioners number 1, 3, and 4 have clean antecedents, they are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
Obliged, my lord. Obliged.
28, Mr. Vinod Kumar Sinha.
May please, my lord. Major section is, my lord, 307, 354B, 504, 506, 34 of the Indian Penal Code. My lord, altogether 7 petitioners before lordship, my lord. प्रोसिक्यूशन केस कहते हैं इन्फॉर्मेंट की जो मैं घास काट के लौट रही थी, तो 3 पर्सन्स जो पिटिशनर नहीं है, हुजूर नंदन सदा, उपेंद्र सदा और विद्यानंद सदा, उनके साथ छेड़छाड़ करने लगे, जिससे उनका कपड़ा फट गया और हाफ नेकेड हो गई। और आगे कहते हैं कि रेस्ट एक्यूज पर्सन, जिसमें पिटिशनर भी है, हुजूर कहते हैं कि लोग हरबे हथियार के साथ आए और मेरे भाई सुभेश यादव और पिता जीतन यादव को माथा पर मारने का एलिगेशन है। जनरल ऑमनिबस सब पर है हुजूर, और हम अनेक्चर इसमें लगाए हुए हैं, अनेक्चर 2 सीरीज पेज 19 पर हुजूर, जैसो पेज 17 से शुरू होता है। एक का सिंपल पाया गया है हुजूर जैसो, और दूसरे का पाया गया है जैसो सिंपल और ग्रीवस दोनों पाया गया, जो ग्रीवस नॉन वाइटल पार्ट पर है पाया गया हुजूर। और केस एनकाउंटर केस अनेक्सर 3 हम लगाया है पेज 20 पर, हमारे तरफ से भी केस हुआ है, और इसमें 3 पर्सन हमारे ओर से भी इंजोर्ड है, उसका भी इंजरी रिपोर्ट हमने लगाया है।
Heard Mr. Vinod Kumar Sinha, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. 3 of the accused persons who are not the petitioners here tried to molest the informant while she was coming back home after scraping grass. When her father and brother came to her rescue, all the accused persons, including the petitioners, assaulted them. Land Council for the petitioners has submitted that an absolutely false case has been lodged against the petitioners, who have not been specifically alleged to have committed any overt act. The petitioners hail from Mahadalit community, whereas the informant and his associates are persons of dominant caste. Land Council for the petitioners further submitted that the injuries of all the victims are simple in nature. Considering the aforementioned facts, the petitioners are directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
Obliged, man.
29, MS Kritu Burma. So 29,
yes.
MS Kritu Burma.
Yes. Also.
So 30, Mr. Jitendra Narayan.
My lord, prayer for anticipatory bail, my lord, measure section 307 of the Indian Penal Code and other allied section of the IPC, my lord. Written report page 13 पर है हुजूर। इनका कहना है कि दिनांक 16/9/2020 को समय 6:30 बजे रास्ते में मैं शंकर राय के घर के सामने पहुंचे, तो उसी समय मेरे जमीन पर मेरे गांव के मोदक राय, यही एक पिटिशनर हैं हुजूर, और इनके साथ 5 अन्य लोग, यानी कुल 6 लोग इनके जमीन पर मिलकर नाद खूंटा रख रहे थे। जब इन्होंने मना किया कि नाद खूंटा क्यों रख रहे हैं, उक्त सभी लोग गाली गलौज करने लगे। मैंने गाली देने का विरोध किया तो दुलारचंद राय ने कहा कि इसको जान से मार दो। तो इस पिटिशनर ने जान मारने के नियत से फरसा मेरे गर्दन पर चला दिया। बचाने के क्रम में मेरे सर पर लगा तथा कट गया। मैं बुरी तरह जख्मी होकर जमीन पर गिर गए। उसके बाद भी लाठी डंडा रड से सभी मारने लगे। यही एलिगेशन है हुजूर। रिपोर्ट एनेक्स 3 है, पेज 21 पर देखा जाएगा। उसमें जो ये कह रहे हैं कि सर कट गया, वह बता रहा है स्वेलिंग, लेसरेट ये
कहाँ
स्वेलिंग राइट
इंजरी
एंड
रिपोर्ट
न्यूक्लियर
कहाँ है?
रीजन
इंजरी
पेज
रिपोर्ट कहाँ है?
पेज 21 पर है हुजूर, एनेक्चर 3 सीरीज 3 में, और काउंटर वर्जन है एनेक्चर 2, एनेक्चर 3 हुजूर 21 पेज पर।
विश्वनाथ राय कौन है?
ये हमारे फैमिली मेंबर हैं हुजूर, जिन्होंने काउंटर केस किया हुआ है।
देखिए, heard Mr. Jitendra Ryan, learned advocate for the petitioner and so on so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with Isuapur PS case number 159 of 2020, dated so instituted for the offences under section so. Stop. The petitioner and his other associates were fixing pegs in the land of the informant, which was objected by him. Stop. On such protest, the petitioner is said to have given a blow on his neck by a sharp cutting weapon, as a result of which he got injured. Stop. Land counsel for the petitioner has submitted that the accusation is absolutely false and misdirected. Because of a dispute between the parties, a case was lodged by one of the family members of the petitioner by Isuapur PS case number 160 of 2020. Stop. It has further been submitted that the injury report belies the genuineness of the statement made in the FIR that the petitioner had used farsa to assault the informant. Stop. No independent person has supported the prosecution case during the course of investigation. Stop. For the reason for the reasons aforestated, the petitioner is directed to be released in the event of arrest to surrender 10,000.
Mukesh Kumar Singh.
May I please, Lordship? My Lord, sole petitioner, my Lord. Major section, my Lord, is under section 307 and 354 of the Indian Penal Code, my Lord. My Lord, case counter case, my Lord. And in this case, it is a specific alleged that this petitioner, my Lord, while the informant was cutting kutti for his cattle, all the accused persons came there, my Lord, and this petitioner assaulted the informant on his head with a spade, which hit on his left pakhura. Thereafter, my Lords, co-accused Harinder Singh assaulted with lathi, which hit on his left hand. Young Bahadur Singh assaulted with lathi, my Lords, and my Lords, thereafter Santosh, co-accused Santosh pulled his sari. My Lords, this is the prosecution case. So, my Lords, against me, that I assaulted him with Udal. My Lords, I have annexed, my Lords, the counter case and the injury report also, my Lords. A case, counter case, and my Lords, injuries are simple in nature, which is annexure 3 at page 28. And my Lords, there is no corresponding injuries, my Lords, on his left pakhura. And whatever injuries there.
Heard Mr. Mukesh Kumar Singh, learned advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. Aslam Ansari for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with so and so. The accusation against the petitioner is of giving a spade blow on the informant, whereafter the informant was assaulted by others. There is a counter version of the occurrence lodged by the petitioner against the informant of the present case by Jalalpur PS case number 224 of 2018. The injury received by the informant is stated to be simple in nature. It is also relevant to note, it has been urged on behalf of the petitioner that the accusation in the FIR is that the informant was hit on his shoulder blades, but there is no such injury on the informant on his shoulder blades. The other accusation is against other accused persons and not against the petitioners. There has been a 2 days delay in the Chief Judicial Magistrate endorsing the subject FIR. Stop. Subject of hire. Full stop. Regard being had to the aforestated facts and taking into account that the investigation of this case is still pending, the petitioner is directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000. Full stop. However, his caution to participate in the investigation and his failure to do so would render the bail granted to him liable to be cancelled. The petition stands allowed and disposed of accordingly.
32, Mr. Indradev Prasad.
Mr. Court Master, we will resume after 5 minutes.
Okay, okay.
हुजूर धारा
एक मिनट सर इंद्रदेव प्रसाद सर 5 मिनट बाद
जी
5 मिनट वेट कीजिए सर।
जी ठीक है।
साहब 35 में भारत भूषण एपीपी नोट कर लीजिएगा।
35 पास ओवर हो गया है सर।
ओह थैंक यू सर।
ओके
आ जाइए ना पेशकार साहब 36 में डायरी आई है ना?
क्या बोल रहे हैं मैम? 36
में डायरी आई है ना?
डायरी तो हम देखे नहीं, फाइल लॉर्डशिप के पास है, वो लॉर्डशिप देखेंगे तो पता चल पाएगा कि
ठीक है ओके ठीक है ठीक।
31 तक कॉल हुआ है?
31 तक हुआ सर। 32 बस 5 मिनट बाद 32 से कॉल करेंगे फिर।
ठीक
सर जिनके यहाँ कोई पैरेलल कोर्ट की आवाज आ रही है सर, वो अपना से इंश्योर कर लेंगे इस कोर्ट को ज्वाइन करने से पहले, उसकी आवाज यहाँ नहीं है।
कितना सीरियल तक हुआ है पेशकार साहब?
31 तक हुआ सर, 32 से कॉल होगा।
ठीक ठीक सर, प्रणाम सर, प्रणाम सर।
देख लीजिए क्या ऑर्डर हुआ था। ऑर्डर है ना।
Yes, Mr. Dharmraj.
Okay. Serial 32 Mr. Indradev Prasad.
जी हुजूर, धारा 147, 149, 341, 323, 325, 307, 504, 506 भारतीय दंड विधान का मुकदमा है, लेकिन आवेदक के खिलाफ 307 का मामला नहीं बनता है और बाकी सभी धारा जमानती है। एफआईआर दर्ज होने में भी 8 दिन का विलंब है और पलटा मुकदमा भी है, जिसका सूचना दाता आवेदक के पिता है। हुजूर, आवेदक का कोई आपराधिक इतिहास नहीं है।
एलिगेशन क्या है बताइए?
जो एलिगेशन है कि इनके ऊपर कि इन्होंने फसली घसका दिया, ये हुजूर इनके ऊपर जो है वो नीचे से हुजूर है तीसरा लाइन एफआईआर का जो पेज है वो नीचे से है। इनके ऊपर जो है हम लोग ये स्वर में बोला कि अगर सत्यनारायण चौधरी इनका लखनऊ
इंजरी कैसा है?
इंजूरी जो सूचना दाता है उनको ग्रीवियस है सूचना दाता पर, तो सूचना दाता पर मारने का आरोप इनका नहीं है और बाकी का जो भी जख्म है वो सब साधारण है, वो इम्प्यूड ऑर्डर से ही स्पष्ट होता है।
आपके तरफ भी इंजरी है?
हाँ, हमारे तरफ भी इंजरी है, हमारे पिता जख्मी है। एनेक्सर 2 है। एनेक्सर 2 का जो कहानी है ज्यादा विश्वसनीय है। वो जो होली त्योहार के शुभ अवसर पर 10 बजे रात में गान बजान हो रहा था, वही मना करने के लिए लोग आए थे, उसी में झगड़ा हुआ है।
Mr. Indradev Prasad, learned advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with so and so. The petitioner, along with others, is said to have assaulted the members of the prosecution party. One of the victims has received grievous injury, whereas rest of them have received all simple injuries. The petitioner is not said to have caused the grievous injury. There is an 8 days delay in lodging the first information report. The father of the petitioner also has lodged a counter version of the case, in which the counter version of the case by Nokha PS case number 45/2020, in which the informant and others of the present case have been made accused. Stop. The occurrence took place over a dispute erupted during the holy festivities. Holy festivities. Stop. The counsel for the petitioner has submitted that on these facts, the offense under section 307 of the IPC cannot be said to have been made out. First off, the father of the petitioner also has received injuries in the clash which took place between the two sides. First off, considering the aforementioned submissions on behalf of the petitioner, to be released in the event of arrest to surrender 10,000.
34, Mr. Manoj Kumar Manoj.
Please, Your Lordship. My Lord, this matter is pertains to the using of the forged certificate of teacher eligibility test, my Lord. And before Your Lordship, 3 petitioners. And that is, the petitioners has already been terminated, my Lord. And similar matter has already been ordered by Your Lordship.
The petitioners heard Mr. Manoj Kumar Manoj, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. First off, they are alleged to have used a forged degree for obtaining employment. First off, Land Counsel for the petitioners has submitted that the accusation is absolutely false and the charges are yet to be verified. So, in fact, the petitioners had appeared in the test, but because of some dispute, because of some anomaly in the master result, the mismatch has been found, and on the basis of such mismatch in the master result and the result of the petitioners, the following the subject FIR has been lost. Stop. The petitioners have been dismissed from service during the pendency of the criminal case against them. Stop. Many of the other accused persons with similar accusation against them have been granted bail by different benches of this court, including this court. Stop. Considering the aforementioned facts, the petitioners are directed to be released in the event of arrest to surrender 10,000.
Obliged, my Lord.
36, Mr. Ashok Kumar.
If I pass over.
36, Mr. Ashok Kumar.
Lordship, I am for the state in this case, my Lord.
स्टेट लिख दीजिएगा. मैं passing it over.
Okay. Say 37, MS Bela Singh.
My Lord.
Yes, Your Lordship, I am appearing on behalf of the informant, Your Lordship.
My Lord. Offense under section 354A, B, 307 and other section of IPC, my Lord. There are 8 petitioners, my Lord, out of which 4 are ladies, my Lord, having no criminal antecedent. And case counter case, my Lord.
FIR बताइए ना.
My Lord. As per an allegation, my Lord, 12 named person, including all petitioners में हथियार से लैस होके मेरे घर को घेर लिया. फकीरा मंडा बोले कि साले सबको पुलिस को फोन करके पकड़वा दिया है और आई थाना कांड संख्या 6520 धारा 290 एक्साइज एक्ट. तो मेरे पिताजी बोले कि तब शराब पीकर मेरे घर की महिला को छेड़खानी किया था, तब हम पुलिस को पकड़वाए थे. इसी बात को लेकर पिताजी को घेर कर जान मारने की नियत से भोला मंडल पिटिशनर नंबर 2 माय लॉर्ड अपने हाथ लिए खंती से लगातार प्रहार करने लगा. सर फटकर खून बहने लगा. फकीरा मंडल और अरुण मंडल अपने हाथ में लिए लोहा के राड से फिर प्रहार करने लगा, जिससे पिताजी का दोनों हाथ पैर टूट गया. उसी दौरान मेरी मां रामकली देवी को सभी लोग घेर कर बेलग्न कर मारपीट करने लगा कि सुबधी देवी पिटिशनर नंबर 5, गायत्री देवी पिटिशनर नंबर 6 एंड देवी पिटिशनर नंबर 7 तीनों अपने हाथ से लिए लाठी से जान मारने के नियत से लगातार प्रहार करने लगे। मेरी माँ का सर फट गया, गिर गई, बेहोश हो गई। इसी बीच संजीव मंडल पिटिशनर नंबर 3 माय लॉर्ड, राजेंद्र मंडल और गजेंद्र
ठीक है,
मंडल।
बोलिए इन्फॉर्मेंट।
यस योर लॉर्डशिप, ग्रेवियस इन नेचर इंजरी है योर लॉर्डशिप। केस डायरी और इंजरी रिपोर्ट दोनों मंगा लिया जाए योर लॉर्डशिप, और क्रिमिनल हिस्ट्री भी ये लोगों का मंगा लिया जाए, क्योंकि जहां तक मुझे मालूम है कि पहले से भी ये लोगों पर कुछ केसेज हैं।
Heard MS Bela Singh, learned advocate for the petitioner, and Mr. Ratesh Shyam Singh for the informant. The state is represented by so-and-so. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so-and-so. Though the petitioners are alleged to have assaulted the members of the prosecution party, but the accusation is general omnibus so far as they are concerned. It has further been submitted that there is a counter version of the occurrence also, which has been lodged by petitioner number 4, right, or IPS case number 145 of 2020. The petitioners as well as the informant are co-villagers and neighbors. However, learned counsel for the informant has submitted that the victims of this case have received grievous injuries, and according to his information, some of the petitioners have criminal antecedents as well. Call for the case diary and injury report of the victims of the subject FIR, victims of the subject FIR, subject case, subject FIR, and list this matter on receipt of the same on 4th of April. During the in the meantime, the petitioners number 5 to 8 on the ground of their gender would be released on provisional bail on their furnishing provisional bail on their in the event of their arrest or surrender before the court below, on their furnishing bonds in the sum of 10,000 with 2 sureties of like amount. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Of like amount.
So 38, Mr. Rakesh Singh.
May I permit, Miller? 304 by 34 IPC, my lord. Your lordship may see page 12 in the FIR, my lord.
Yes.
12, my lord. That, my lord, in Borwell, my lord, 7 years girl was, my lord.
एक का तो आपने ले, एक का एग्जीक्यूट करने वाला तो ले लिया है। हाईटेक के कौन है आप?
इसको देखिए हुजूर, ये तो अपने रिजाइन 3 महीना पहले कर चुके हुजूर। पेज 17 देखा जाए नेक्स्ट 2 हुजूर।
कौन है आप?
हम तो हैं हुजूर रंजन कुमार पांडे हैं हुजूर।
कौन है आप?
हम अभी देते हैं FIR के अनुसार हुजूर, छोड़ देने को प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर।
आपका काम था सेफ्टी रखना, पेडेस्ट्रियंस को अलग करना।
जब तक हम रहे सेफ्टी रहा हुजूर हम, लेकिन 3 महीना पहले 30/11/19 को रिजिग्नेशन एक्सेप्ट हो गया और फिर हम ज्वाइन कर लिए दूसरे कंपनी हुजूर।
Heard Mr. Krishna Prasad Singh, learned advocate for the petitioner, learned senior advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. A young girl fell into the open and unguarded borewell and died. The borewell had been dug in execution of the water scheme of the state of Bihar. The work was awarded to a company of Gujarat, of which the petitioner is stated to be the project director. Hence his prosecution in the instant case. Upar wali dena seeks bail in anticipation. Learned counsel, Mr. Singh, learned senior advocate for the petitioner, has submitted that prior to the lodging of the subject FIR, the petitioner had left the job of the company in question and had joined another company. As long as the petitioner was serving the company, he took all precaution to protect pedestrians from falling in the unmanned and uncovered bore wells. Call for the case diary and list this matter on receipt of the same to ascertain whether such assertion of the petitioner is correct. The petitioner, in the meanwhile, in the event, call for the case diary and list this matter on receipt of the same on 5th of April 2022. In the meanwhile, the petitioner, in the event of his arrest or surrender, shall be released on provisional bail 10,000.
13 Mr. Deobind Kumar Singh.
May it please, Your Lordship. My Lord, I may be permitted to withdraw this bail application, my Lord.
Mr. Deobind Kumar Singh, learned advocate for the petitioner, seeks permission to withdraw this application. Dismissed as withdrawn.
40 Mr. Gajendra Kumar Singh.
May I please, Your Lordship? Prayer for anticipatory bail offence section 406, 420 of the Indian Penal Code.
Just a minute. Just a minute. The whole screen has gone. Can you hear me?
Your Lordship.
Just a minute. Send the technical expert. What is his name? Huh?
Yeah, Lordship.
Vimlesh, where is he? Ask him to come here.
Yeah, Lordship, yeah, आपके पास.
Acha, then we will get back after some time. Is my video also available on the screen?
Yeah, available.
Your Lordship, available.
I can't see anything. I don't know what has happened. Now it appears there was some icon was pressed. I don't know. Oh, we are pressing. So yes, Mr. Manish Kumar.
Your Lordship, the offence under section 406, 420 of the Indian Penal Code. On perusal of the first information report, Your Lordship, allegation has been made, Your Lordship, for purchase a piece of land. The informant, Your Lordship, make payment of 15 lakhs and odd. And thereafter, Your Lordship, neither sale deed has been executed by the accused person, Your Lordship, nor the amount has been returned. But this is the nutshell allegation in the FIR, Your Lordship. Submission would be, Your Lordship, although in the FIR he has brought on record the copy of the sale deed, it has been produced, but they have not, Your Lordship, appeared before the registrar for acceptance of the same. But the submission would be, Your Lordship, since the entire amount has not been paid, only 3,50,000 has been paid to the.
Who are you, the landowner?
I am the landowner, Your Lordship. Pratima Devi, old lady.
You are the old, you are the vendor.
Your Lordship.
Heard Mr. Manish Kumar, number 2, learned advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of her arrest in connection with so and so. Despite having received money for conveying a plot of land to the informant, neither the land has been transferred nor the money has been returned. Land counsel for the petitioner has submitted that she is the vendor and the property has not been transferred and registered for the reason that the entire consideration amount as agreed upon between the parties has yet not been paid. The informant has also not been showing up in the registry office. The aforesaid defense is contradictory. Be that as it may, this court would like to hear the informant before taking any decision with respect to grant of anticipatory bail to the petitioner. Let the informant be added as a party for which, as a party / opposite party number 2, for which necessary correction shall be carried out by the land counsel for the petitioner in the registry within a period of 1 week. Within a period of 1 week to be counted from today. On receipt, counted from today. Let notice be issued to the newly added opposite party number 2 on steps being taken by the petitioner within a period of 2 weeks, both modes returnable on 13th of April. Call for the case diary and list this matter on receipt of the same on the same day when the case is scheduled to be listed. In the meantime, in the event of the arrest or surrender of the petitioner, she shall be released on provisional bail on her furnishing bonds in the sum of ₹10,000 with 2 surety of like.
Your Lordship, I pray for one thing, Your Lordship. for the adding of party lawsuit, 2 weeks time may be granted. Otherwise, हुजूर फाइल
2
जाने
weeks,
में हाँ
the 2 weeks और उसका 2 weeks further. Then इसको April 13 का बजाय इसको April 20th कर
जी
All right.
41 मिस्टर अखौरी कमल किशोर सहाय। माइक ऑन कीजिए सर अपना। अखौरी कमल किशोर सहाय सर, माइक ऑन कीजिए अपना।
Sorry, my lords. Anticipatory bail, my lords. Offense under section 307 and other minor sections and 27 Arms Act. The case is that, my lord, that the informant went to Manikchand temple premises and questioned one Pramod Pandit that why he was living there. There has been said, my lord, that 6 persons came and one Dina Gop opened fire and they fled away. My lords, I will make only one submission. That is the order of the learned session judge. My lords, kindly see. My lords, my father was a trustee of the board and that is why we are present. Now, my lords, my father has been granted bail and on same allegation, my has been rejected simply on the ground that I had concealed a fact that I was earlier accused in a case, my lords. My lords, found it. In the end, am I audible, my lords?
Yes, we are getting it.
Yes, my lords. In the last paragraph say that Bablu Kumar, his prayer for anticipated bail is rejected. However, petitioner number 2, who is a senior citizen having clean antecedents, a prayer is there. My prayer was rejected only on the ground, my lord, that I had concealed a fact that I am accused in this case, which I had concealed. Now, my lords, I have stated in para 3 of this petition, my lords, that the petitioner is having no criminal antecedent. However, the petitioner is earlier made and accused in Gardanibagh case number so and so of 2005, in which he has been acquitted by the court below in the year 2008 itself, my lord. And that is why it was not mentioned in the para 3.
Heard Mr. Akhori Kamal. Heard Mr. Akhori Kamal Kishore Sinha, learned advocate for the petitioner, and and Mr.
Hi, my lord. Akhori Kamal Kishore Sahai.
Akhori Kamal Kishore Sahai for the petitioner and Mr. Abhay Kumar Roy for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with Gardanibagh PS case number so-and-so, dated so-and-so, instituted for the offences under section so-and-so. The accusation against the petitioner and his father and others is of having opened fire in the air for threatening one Pramod Pandit for his residing in the temple premises. It has been urged on behalf of the petitioner that he and his father are members of the trust which runs the temple, trust of the temple, and the informant was a user. The informant is a trespasser. Apart from this, it has been urged on behalf of the petitioner that his father, namely Indresh Prasad, who too has similar allegation against him, has been granted anticipatory bail by the court below. But such privilege has not been given to the petitioner only on the ground that he failed to mention that earlier he was made accused in a criminal case. Mr. Akhori Kamal Kishore Sinha has submitted that though the petitioner was earlier made accused in a case in the year 2005, by Gardanibagh PS case number 438 of 2005, but in that case, he has been acquitted by the court below way back in the year 2008 only. Thus, for all practical purposes, as on date, the petitioner also has no criminal antecedent. This, it has been argued, cannot be this. It has been argued cannot be called concealment under any circumstance. For the reasons aforestated, the petitioner is directed to be released in the event of arrest or surrender 10,000.
42, Mr. Milendra Kumar Misra.
May please, Lordship. It is prayer for anticipatory bail application. Case is instituted under section 406, 409, 420, 34 of the Indian Penal Code, Lordship. In this case, Lordship, block development officer is the informant, Lordship. Petitioner is the ward member and she is a woman, Lordship. Allegation है हुजूर की मुख्यमंत्री ग्रामीण पेय जल निश्चय योजना, मुख्यमंत्री ग्रामीण गली नली पक्कीकरण योजना में पिटिशनर और वार्ड सचिव द्वारा वित्तीय अनियमितता परिलक्षित हुई है हुजूर। मतलब शॉर्ट एलिगेशन यही है हुजूर। लॉर्डशिप काइंडली सी द सप्लीमेंट्री एफिडेविट लॉर्डशिप।
Yes.
इसमें हुजूर लास्ट एनेक्चर है हुजूर, पेज 8 पर वर्क कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट हुजूर। पिटिशनर वार्ड नंबर 10 की वार्ड मेंबर है हुजूर, सीरियल 4 पर है हुजूर। इसमें हुजूर 12,83,100 रुपया हुजूर पिटिशनर के वार्ड अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर किया गया था वर्क के लिए, जिसमें हुजूर 12,72,033 रुपये का वर्क करा चुकी हैं। रेस्ट हुजूर 75,786 ऑफ रुपीज हुजूर रेस्ट बचा है, जो हुजूर पंचायत के 75,867 रुपया जो ग्राम पंचायत के अकाउंट में हुजूर ऑलरेडी जमा है। 1 रुपया का भी डिफाल्केशन हुजूर नहीं हुआ।
Heard Mr. Milind Kumar Mishra, learned advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of her arrest in connection with so and so. Stop. At the relevant time, the petitioner was the board member cum chairperson of the committee, which was entrusted with the task of executing the work of road construction and potable water. Stop. The allegation against the petitioner and her ward secretary is of committing fiscal indiscipline while executing the work. Stop. Land Council for the petitioner has drawn the attention of this court to the fact that approximately 12 lakhs was deposited in the working account of the petitioner, against which the entire work has been completed, and there is a no completion / no objection certificate of the concerned authority. First up, whatever amount was left to be spent has already been deposited in the account of the panchayat. First up, Land Council for the petitioner therefore has submitted that the accusation of financial irregularity is not borne out from the records of this case. For the aforestated reasons and taking into account the gender of the petitioner, she is directed to be released in the event of her surrender to
Lordship.
45, Mr. Manohar Prasad Singh.
Please, your Lordship, application for anticipatory bail, my lord, for the offence under section 307 and some allied sections, my lord. My lord, may kindly come to page number 10 of my petition, my lord. That is the FIR. Both are the full brother, and there is case and counter case, due to which, my lord, such type of allegation has been made, my lord. मूंग का फसल चराने को लेकर के ये झगड़ा हुआ है दोनों भाइयों में, और अदर साइड जो हुजूर इंफॉर्मेंट हैं इस दिनेश यादव, इन लोगों का हुजूर बेल एंटिसिपेटरी लोअर कोर्ट से ही हो गया है। एक रोहित यादव परहैप्स उसका बेल वहाँ नहीं हुआ है, सबका हो गया है। तो हुजूर इसमें देखा जाए कुछ नहीं है, इसमें गाली गलौज करती क्यों हो। मेरे भाई प्रमोद यादव ने हसुआ से मेरे हाथ के दाहिना हाथ के गट्टा पर मारा, जिससे मेरा गट्टा फट गया, और मेरे पेट पर हसुआ से मारा, जिससे मेरे पेट फट गया। मुझे मारते देख मेरा लड़का ज्योतिष यादव एवं लड़का रोहित कुमार यादव बचाने आए।
The petitioners, who are husband and wife amongst themselves, seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. First off, the full brother of the petitioner number 2 has lodged the subject FIR alleging that he and his associates were assaulted by the petitioners and others. There is a counter version of the occurrence also by Jagdishpur, Gora DPS case number 209 of 2020. First off, petitioner number 1 has received injuries in connection with the aforementioned counter case. First off, there is no corresponding injury on any one of the victims of subject FIR, even though the accusation is of assault by sharp cutting weapon. the dispute arose because of reaping of standing crops in a field, standing crops in the field over which there is competing claim of the two brothers. Stop. Considering the aforementioned background facts and taking into account that the accused persons in the counter case have been released on bail by the court below, the petitioners are directed to be released in the event of their arrest or surrender 10,000.
46, Mr. Rakesh Kumar.
This is application for anticipatory bailment for offense under section 147, 148, 149, 341, 324, and 307 of the IPC, my lord. Allegation is petitioner have assaulted the informant's father, my lord. Petitioner has falsely implicated in this case, my lord. Delay of 2 days from date of occurrence in lodging FIR. My lord.
FIR padhiye, Mr. Rakesh Sinha.
Yes, my lord. वहां से निवेदन है कि आनंद कुमार पिता श्री सुरेश कुमार थाना जिला पटना रहने वाला हूं। दिनांक 11/3/2020 की शाम 5 बजे दिन में अपने पिता के खोज पे घर से निकलने के कारण मेरे पिता दिन 12 बजे से घर से नाश्ता के बाद खाना भी नहीं खाए थे कि उनके पति दोपहर खाना खाकर कहीं निकलते थे। इसलिए मैं बाजार की तरफ गली से होकर जा रहा था। गली में हल्ला सुनकर रुका तो देखा कि सुबोध कुमार और बबलू कुमार मेरे पिता को पकड़कर लपट थप्पड़ कर रहे हैं। खींचते हुए बबलू कुमार अपने घर के पास ले गए। मैं आवश्यक कागजात और खोजबीन के लिए मैं हल्ला कर रहा था कि बबलू कुमार के साथ सुबोध कुमार, दिलीप कुमार, सनोज कुमार, बब्बन कुमार सभी आकर मेरे पिता को पकड़कर टांग लिए और अपने दरवाजे पर लाकर पटक दिए। सुबोध कुमार अन्य सभी भाई जिनके पिता दिनेश सिंह शाम ग्राम पोस्ट जिला पटना के निवासी है। सुबोध कुमार अपने घर से तलवार निकालकर मेरे पिता के सिर पर वार करने लगा जिससे खून निकलने लगा। बबलू कुमार लोहे के रड से मार रहे थे। अन्य सभी नामित सदस्य लाठी खंती से वार कर रहे थे। दिनेश सिंह के पैर पर चढ़कर तड़पते पिता को छटपटाने नहीं दे रहे थे। धनती देवी उर्फ सुगीपति देवी एवं गीता जी से बबलू कुमार लोहा और डंडा से मार रहे थे। मैं बचाने गया तो मुझे भी उठाकर पटक दिया। हल्ला
फादर का कैसा इंजरी है?
इंजरी मतलब सिंपल इन नेचर है। हमने सप्लीमेंट्री में लाया एनेक्सर 3 और 4 माय लॉर्ड। केस एनकाउंटर केस है माय लॉर्ड। हमारे केस करने के 7 घंटा के बाद ये केस किए हैं। देयर इज 2 days delays my lord in lodging FIR.
I heard Mr. Rakesh Sinha, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. To stop the accusation against the petitioners is of assaulting the father of the informant and others who came to his rescue. The Stockland Council for the petitioners has submitted that the injuries suffered by the victims is reported to be simple in nature. Stop. There is a counter version of the occurrence also lodged by one Bablu Kumar, who is the son of petitioner number 3 by Sigori PS case number 48 of 2020 against the informant and others. There has been a delay of 2 days in lodging the first information report. Considering the aforementioned facts, the petitioners in the event of arrest or surrender directed to release 10,000.
So 47, Mr. Amrit Avijat.
Yes,
Accused, my lords, prosecution case is, my lords, under section 307, 354 of IPC, my lords. My lord's allegation is that on 25/9/2017 at AM, the father of informant Chaudhary Singh noticed that the husband of petitioner was cutting a ridge of field, my lords, and attempted to amalgamate his land with the land of petitioner, my lords, with the land of informant, my lord. On protest, my lords, Laleswar Singh, the husband of informant, started abusing informant as well as his father, my lords. Thereafter, all the accused person arrived, my lords, and Vivek Kumar assaulted with iron on the head of the father of informant, my lords. And petitioner is said to advise her husband to assault sister-in-law of informant, my lords. But no injury report of sister-in-law of informant was found, my lords. Petitioner is a female, my lords. no allegation of any
इंजरी कैसा है?
इंजुरी माय लॉर्ड से इनके ऊपर है। विवेक कुमार जो असॉल्ट किए इंजुरी है, इम्प्यूग्ड ऑर्डर में आया हुआ है माय लॉर्ड।
नहीं तो क्या है, ग्रीवस है क्या है?
लेसरेटेड वुंड,
ग्रीवस
जी
देखें
जी। इनका इसका एलिगेशन माय लॉर्ड को एक्यूज्ड के ऊपर है, विवेक कुमार के ऊपर। पिटिशनर फीमेल है।
heard Mr. Amrit Avijat Laran advocate for the petitioner and so and so for the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of her arrest in connection with so and so. On a protest made by the informant over an attempt of the husband of the petitioner to amalgamate his land amalgamate the informant's land into his, an occurrence took place in which the informant was assaulted by the husband of the petitioner and one Vivek Kumar. First off, the petitioner is also said to have taken part in the affray. First off, Land Counsel for the petitioner has submitted that from the impugned order it would appear that the informant has received grievous injury on his head, but that is not attributable to the petitioner at all. Because the husband of the petitioner has been made accused in this case, therefore the petitioner has also been shown to be a member of the mob. There is a counter version of the case lodged by the petitioner by Kumar Khand PS case number 204 of 2017 against the informant of the present case and others. The petitioner comes from a poor strata of society, and because of the land dispute, she too has been made accused in this case. Regard being had to the aforestated facts 10,000.
Oblige, my lord.
48, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, number 7.
Please, Your Lordship. Lord, the application is for grant of anticipatory bail. Case is under section 307, 324 and other allied section of the IPC, my lord. Page 18 is the for the bayan, my lord. As per the prosecution case on account of construction of house, my lord, a scuffle took place in which allegation against petitioner number 1 is that, my lord, she assaulted the wife of informant by means of bamboo, my lord, on the head, my lord. And so far petition number 2 and 3 are concerned, there is no allegation in the entire FIR against them, my lord. And moreover, my submission is that the annexure 2 is the charges submitted against the rest 4 accused persons, and these petitioners were not sent up for the trial, my lord. But the differing with the police report, the London magistrate has taken the cognizance against these petitioners also, including the other accused persons, my lord.
Heard Mr. Anand Kumar Mishra, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of their arrest in connection with so and so. Over a dispute regarding construction of a house, an occurrence took place in which the informant and others are alleged to have been assaulted. Though there is a specific accusation of assault against petitioner number 1, but the police submitted charge sheet against other accused persons, and the petitioners were never sent up for being tried. However, differing with the police report, the court below has taken cognizance against the petitioners as well. Petitioners as well. What is the nature of injury by informant?
Injury is the simple, my lord. That has come in the order sheet of the
injury
bail granted to the other accused, my lord.
Received by the informant is also reported to be simple in nature. Regard being had to the aforestated facts 10,000 shorts.
Oblige.
49, Mr. Manendra Nath Verma.
My lord, my senior is not well, so I am trying to assist my best to the best of my capacity. My lord, under section 366 of IPC, on 24/2/2020.
We can't see you. If you can put on your video, it's all right. Yes.
Yes, my lord.
I can't see you.
My lord, on 24/2/2020.
Still can't see you.
अपना वीडियो ऑन कीजिए।
Yes.
Yes, my lord. My lord,
Yes.
on 24/2/2020, date of FIR, by father of the girls said that his daughter Rani Sharma is 17 years, left home for college carrying Jio mobile number. फोन was switched off and वो लोगों को आशंका थी कि उनके साथ कुछ गलत हुआ है. But my lord, in paragraph 5, petitioner not named though known since before, और petitioner का कोई भी नाम नहीं है उसमें, और उनका दोनों मोबाइल नंबर भी नहीं बताया गया था. In paragraph 8 of the petition, my lord, girls return home safely and names petitioner as a abductor kidnapper. बस वो नाम लेती है वो petitioner का कि उनका किडनैप हुआ है, बट वो उन पे कोई भी ऐसा एलिगेशन नहीं लगाती है कि उनके साथ कुछ गलत हुआ है. और माय लॉर्ड 164 और 161 दोनों का स्टेटमेंट जो उन्होंने दिया है, दोनों अलग अलग दिया है उन्होंने.
मैं इसमें इंक्लाइन नहीं हूँ. आप चूंकि आप अपने सीनियर के एब्सेंस में बहस कर रही हैं, तो मैं इसमें केस डायरी मांग लेता हूँ. मैं प्रोविजनल भी नहीं देने के पक्ष में हूँ 164 स्टेटमेंट के कारण. I can ask, if you want, I can pass it over for your senior to come, but I think this is a better option. Let diary come, we will see. Your senior, I mean, if your senior would have argued, we would have dismissed the petition. Diary मांग लेता हूँ. लिखिए, call for the case diary and list this matter on receipt of the same on 4th of April. पहला पैराग्राफ लिखने के बाद लिखिएगा.
50 MS Mukul Kumari.
May I please your lordship, I am appearing behalf of petitioner your lordship. Offense under major section 307 and 379 of the IPC your lordship, and other sections of the IPC your lordship. FIR against 15 named persons your lordship, along with this petitioner your lordship. Allegation against this petitioner your lordship to snatching of 6,200 rupees and snatching a golden taviz your lordship, which is totally vague allegation your lordship. Offense under section 307 and 379 of the IPC does not make out your lordship. I have annexed annexure to your lordship injury report your lordship of the informant and father of the informant your lordship. That is simple in nature your lordship and caused by hard and blunt object your lordship. Case and counter case your lordship, I have stated in para 8 your lordship, my case is earlier your lordship. And para 11 I have stated your lordship, case and counter version case your lordship. All the accused persons have been granted bail your lordship except this petitioner your lordship.
MS Mukul Kumari, learned advocate for the petitioner and so and
for
so. For the state. The petitioner seeks bail in anticipation of his arrest in connection with so and so. The petitioner and others and about 14 others are said to have assaulted the members of the prosecution party. So far as the petitioner is concerned, he is stated to have snatched money and gold ring from the possession of the informant and his family members. The accusation, it has been argued, is absolutely vague and appears to be concocted. The injuries suffered by the victims of the subject of FIR have been reported to be simple in nature. The petitioner has also lodged 3 first information reports against the informant and others, the details of which have been given in paragraph 8 of the petition. Both sides have received injuries, and the injuries on every victim is reported to be simple in nature. Considering the aforementioned background facts, the petitioner is directed to all other accused persons of this case have earlier been granted bail by different benches of this court as well as the court below. For the
no, my lord, my one humble submission, your lordship. No different bench, your lordship. Lordship has given already granted bail.
All other accused persons of this case have been granted bail by this court.
My lord.
The petition in the the petitioner thus क्या लिखा है? In the event of his arrest or surrender, he shall be released on bail 10,000.
Oblige, your lordship.
51, Mr. Pushpendra Kumar Singh.
May I please, Lordship, anticipatory bail, Lordship, offence under section 323, 324, 379, 307 and other sections of the IPC, Lordship. As per the FIR, the informant stated that on 11/3/2020, when he was sitting at his Bajaj agency, there is also a residential house. In the meantime, all the named accused persons came there, and one Krishna Kumar pointed pistol and asked to hand over the key of the cash box. He protested. Then Vijay Shah attacked by sword on his head, and this petitioner assaulted by iron rod, Lordship. Thereafter, other accused persons had been assaulted, Lordship. As per the FIR, there is allegation against one Vijay Shah who was assaulted by sword on his head. This petitioner assaulted by iron rod, but he has not mentioned that in which part of the body he has been assaulted, Lordship. Case and counter case, Lordship.
Let case diary be called for. लिखिए कल पहला पैराग्राफ के बाद लिखिए call for the case diary and list this matter on receipt of the same on 1st of April.
Lordship, in the meantime,
Sanjay Kumar Sinha.
May I plead, Lordship, anticipatory bail, my lord, or on behalf of the petitioner, my lord, under section 467, 468, 471, 420 of IPC, my lord. एलिगेशन है जो कि फॉर डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिखाकर इन्होंने नियोजित टीचर का जॉब प्राप्त किया था। पेटिशनर की लेडी माय लॉर्ड, और इस तरह के केस में हुजूर द्वारा और अदर बेंच के द्वारा भी बहुत लोगों का
Heard Mr. Sanjay Kumar Sinha, learned advocate for the petitioner and so for the state. Pala paragraph. The petitioner is alleged to have obtained employment on forged certificates of academic qualification. Mr. Appellant Counsel for the petitioner has submitted that she has आपको जॉब में है?
नहीं, जो डिसमिस कर दिया गया है.
Appellant Counsel for the petitioner has submitted that she has already been dismissed from the job, and several such similarly situated accused persons have been released on bail by different benches of this court. It has further been submitted that the accusation is yet to be verified, and therefore there would be no necessity of sending the petitioner to jail during the period of investigation of this case. Considering the aforementioned facts and taking into account the gender of the petitioner, as also that many of the similarly situated accused persons have been granted anticipatory bail, the petitioner is also released in the event of arrest to surrender 10,000.
53, Mr. Umesh Kumar.
May I please, Lords? Lord, anticipatory bail, my lord, under section 341, 323, 307, 504, 506 by 34 of the Indian Penal Code, my lord. Case of the prosecution is that, my lord, the informant was sitting at his door. Then, my lord, all 14 named accused persons, including the petitioners, my lord, came with lathi, danda and pistol. And they abused him and started assaulting with lathi and danda. Informants and, my lord, Muhammad Murtaza Ansari came to save him. Then, my lord, co-accused Sasi Kumar made firing, as a result of which, my lord, he, my lord, sustained injury on his right arm, my lord. The reason behind the occurrence is that, my lord, one Jagdish Saw, my lord, was constructing hut on the land of Imam Bada, my lord. My lord, as per the FIR, my lord, there is no specific allegation against the petitioner, my lord. There is a specific allegation against co-accused Sasi Kumar, my lord, who fired on the son of informant. My lord, I have stated, my lord, at paragraph number 9, my lord, the informant sustained simple injury caused by hardened blood substance, my lord. There is a case and counter case, my lord. One co-accused, Pankaj Bhagat, my lord, has also lodged an FIR, my lord, against the informant side. And, my lord, similarly situated co-accused person, my lord, Ganesh Kumar, has been granted anticipatory bail by his lordship, my lord. The order has not been pronounced, my lord. My lord, 28 2000.
Heard Mr. Umesh Kumar, learned advocate for the petitioners and so and so for the state. The petitioners seek bail in anticipation of the arrest in connection with so and so. Stop. The petitioner, along with several others, are said to have taken part in the affray in which the informant and his son have received injuries. First off, the informant has received simple injury, and his son, namely Murtaza Ansari, has received gunshot injury, but that is attributable to Sashi Kumar, who is not the petitioner in this application. First off, apart from this, it has been submitted that there is a counter version of the occurrence lost by one of the co-accused persons of this case, namely Pankaj Bhagat, by Mehendia PS case number 48 of 2020. First off, the petitioner number 1 is the
48 नहीं 84 है जो petition में जो लिखा गया लेकिन annexure 2 लगाया
84. The petitioner number 1 is serving as Sarpanch of Gram Panchayat Manpura, and he has been made accused in this case only because he tried to intercede between the parties. Some of the other similarly situated accused persons have been granted anticipatory bail by this court. Regard being had to the aforestated facts 10,000. There is no specific accusation against petitioner against the petitioners conduct.
Still 50 for Mr. Devendra Narayan Singh.
Milords, the offences under section Milord 341, 342, 323, 504, 34 of the Penal Code and section 8 of the POCSO Act and 75 of the JJ Act. Subsequently, Milords, the section 8, the section 8 of the POCSO Act and 75 of the JJ Act was not found applicable in the instant case.
देखेंगे हम लोग इसको फिजिकल में जरा सा, इसमें सीबीआई भी है
जी हुजूर।
सीबीआई के कौन वकील हैं?
बिपिन कुमार सिन्हा।
उनको खबर
जी
पास ओवर करते हैं, खबर करिए मंडे को
जी। ओब्लाइज लॉर्ड्स।
Still 55 Mr. Vivekanand Singh.
Lord.
Yes.
My lords, earlier your lordship was kindly see, my lords, order dated 27/1/22, by which your lordship was pleased to call for the case diary, my lords, and the provisional bail was granted to the petitioner, my lords. My lords, the case is.
Just a minute. आप पर क्या इल्जाम है?
हुजूर कोई स्पेसिफिक एलिगेशन नहीं है। एफआईआर में हुजूर 9 accused persons है, including 200 and 250 मालर्स unknown persons. जनरल एलिगेशन है हुजूर की कहते हैं कि को एक्यूज अमीश आनंद जो है एक सेल डीड खरीद परचेज किए हुजूर इलीगली, जबकि उस जमीन को लेके सब जज के यहाँ केस पेंडिंग है। उसके बाद हुजूर है कि
जस्ट मिनट, 3 लोग जो इंजर्ड हैं उनका क्या है, उनका कैसा है नेचर ऑफ इंजरी?
उनका हुजूर तो केस डायरी मांगा गया था, हमारे पास तो कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन हुजूर देख रहे हैं कि कोई इंजरी रिपोर्ट ना तो सेशन जज हुजूर मेंशन किए हैं, इसी के लिए हुजूर डायरी भी मांगा गया था। पता नहीं उसमें हुजूर हम देखे नहीं है, डायरी हमारे पास है नहीं। लैंड डिस्प्यूट का केस है हुजूर, काउंटर केस है। पहले केस हम लोग फाइल किए हुए हैं, महेशपुर पीएस केस नंबर 160।
देखिए, let an express reminder be sent to the court below for dispatching the case diary. This matter on receipt of the same on 4th of April. First up, interim order in the meanwhile shall continue.
Pavla is my lords.
56 Mr. Suresh Mukhia.
Lord, kindly pass over for the day.
Pass.
Still 57 Mr. Dhirendra Kumar.
May please your lordship, my lord, arguing this case, my lord, Dhirendra Kumar is not, my lord, here, my lord. Lord, case under section 302, my lord, an allegation, my lord.
Yes.
Allegation is, my lord, while the informant was following his father by his motorcycle and father was going on by foot, my lord. 9 persons named, my lord, and 3 persons born on motorcycles surrounded him, my lord, and they made an indiscriminate firing, resulting which he died, my lord.
Call for the case diary. Pala likhe. Heard Mr. Ashutosh Singh, learned advocate for the petitioner.
I am appealing informant this.
Who is informant?
Yes, my lord.
Mr. Abhay Kumar Singh for the informant. Pala paragraph लिखने के बाद लिखे, call for the case diary and list this matter on receipt to the same on 8th of April.
Obliged, my lord.
Cell 58, Mr. Muhammad Abu Haider.
My lord. The last occasion, my lord. And last occasion, my lord, was pleased to my lord see notice, and my lord provisional was granted to the petitioners, my lord.
Awaiting the appearance of OP number 2 in this case, the matter is adjourned to 4th of April.
वीरेंद्र कुमार नाम तो क्लियर कर रहा है कि एडवोकेट साहब का
नहीं, सर्विस ही नहीं हुई है नोटिस ही सर्विस नहीं.
Okay.
As awaiting the appearance of the opposite party number 2, this case is adjourned to 4th of April. Entering order in the meanwhile.
Obliged.
Cell 60, Mr. Santosh Kumar.
My lord, major offense under section 406 and 420, my lord. My lord, the allegation is that the agreement was executed between the parties, but later on the sale deed has not been executed, my lord. Now,
My lord,
I'd like to draw my lord kind attention to my supplementary affidavit, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Who appears for the opposite party number 2?
My lord, I am appearing on the behalf of informant OP number 2, my lord.
All right.
I humble prayer for only pass over for the day, my lord, because on last.
Pass
माय लॉर्ड एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी माय लॉर्ड 59 में हम अपोजिट पार्टी की तरफ से अपियर हो रहे थे हुजूर मेरे पास
59 पास ओवर हो गया.
पास ओवर हो गया.
ओब्लाइज
कंप्लीट हो गया.